And also, we want to encourage American involvement in the investment in Liberia.
Yeah.
We'd like to see that happen. We want to work with the United States in peace and security within the region, because we are committed to that. And we just want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you. And such good English, such beautiful. Where did you learn to speak so beautifully? Where were you educated? Where?
Yes, sir.
In Liberia.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's very interesting. It's beautiful English.
Sure.
I have people at this table can't speak nearly as well,
Very
and
good, sir. Thank you.
they come from here. So thank you very much.
Security in the Southeast, there were those who criticized you, and you never came out to condemn the role IPOP and those who were the agitators and those who were asking for seat at home. And some of the killings that happened.
Still, they are not following me. I've condemned killings everywhere, even the one that happened in Anambra yesterday.
I'm talking about the role of IPOP.
I said I've condemned everything. The only thing I said about the agitators, let me tell you now. So it doesn't matter what, there's Yoruba agitators, there's other agitators, there's Israel agitators. I will talk to all of them. There's nothing wrong with agitators. Anybody who says, okay, come on, let's talk. You must exhaust the reason, you must exhaust. But see, I see all those functionalities as a function of a dysfunctional, is a result of a dysfunctional society. If you do the right things, all these things will collapse on its own. So what I'm going to unleash here as somebody who works in government will change it.
Would this be canvassing for a political solution to the case of Nnamdi Kanu?
For every one of them. I mean, why is it being held? It doesn't make sense to me. Some people say because he used vulgar words and everything. Is there anything wrong? I've not seen it. People just say, oh, using vulgar words. You say, it doesn't bother me if I'm president, whether you call me thief, call me a less man, call me idiot, which they call me today. It doesn't bother me. My duty as a leader is to the common man to put food on their table.
Well, if you are talking about the situation in the Southeast, is it the same way you handle the agitators and those who are killing in the Northeast and the Northwest?
Remember what I said. If there are people I can talk to, I will talk to them. But remember what I said. Once I exhaust reason, I'll deal with it. Let's say tomorrow we have a bandit by name so operating in the Northeast. I will look for shame. Quote me anywhere. But, remember, that is just establish a link to say enough is enough.
is Al Jazeera's senior political analyst, and he's joining us live from Paris. Good to see you, Marwan. How do you see the developments in Gaza over the past week, the never-ending forced displacement orders that Hani was just telling us about, but also the Israeli Defense Minister announcing this plan to concentrate Gaza's population in the Rafah, the only major food distribution center, keeping only its Rafah operation open, not to mention all of this happening while Netanyahu was in Washington, D.C.?
Well, let's start with the latter. Israel Katz has quite a pedigree as an extremist Likud member since he was in his university days. And he certainly feels left out. He's jealous of Yoav Gallant, his predecessor, for having been indicted by the International Criminal Court for war crimes, and he wants to be indicted as well. Why should his predecessor be indicted and not himself? So he's certainly on the path to war crimes, in a kind of a speedily manner, saying everything that needs to be said in order to have the evidence available at the ICC. Now, having said that, he does not represent himself, of course. When he says the same things day after day, with Netanyahu's complicity, that means this is the government position. So I think while we say the defense minister, this is about the coalition government of fascists and fanatics continuing more of the same that we've seen over the past 21, 22 months of genocide. And he is carrying it to its logical end. If you remember back in the early days in October, the Israelis, a good number of them, dozens, they were talking about transfer. They were talking about concentrating Palestinians and transferring them. The Biden administration wasn't very happy with that. Now Trump doesn't seem to care very much. In fact, if anything, he would like to turn Gaza into a beachhead property. And hence we're seeing the Israelis back at it. It's criminal, but it's beyond criminal. You see, there's something psychological going on in Israel that goes beyond political analysis. And I'm not a professional enough in that field to explain it. But to my sense, there's a certain, psychopathy. They're quite the psychopaths. The way they talk about the Palestinians, the way they are devising these criminal plans, the way they are so indifferent to human feeling, to human suffering, tells you that these people need to be all rounded up and sent into some kind of a mental hospital or something.
Marwan, you made the point about, Israel Katz having, the defense minister having extremist positions in the past. And it's what's really interesting about him promoting this plan. We've heard from Israeli guests themselves in the past week is that he is the son of Holocaust survivors promoting a plan to concentrate people in a very, very small area of Gaza.
This has been an amazing conversation. There's only one more question I have for you. And it's about, do you, Neil, believe? Because I asked
I don't believe. That's not a believe thing. That's not.
I'm gonna put you on the spot, Neil.
Fine.
I'm still gonna do it. Because that's what I ask a lot of my guests. It's important.
Okay, go.
It's our African, this is gonna be mostly for an African audience, right?
Fine.
So do you believe that Africans can become more prosperous in this century?
Oh, but definitely. When I look over the history of, before 1910, the United States was kind of a backwoods farmland country. We had a couple of big cities, but they were kind of smelly and dirty, and they were not very sophisticated, not like London or Paris, for example. And the country was built within a century to become a leader in the world in science and technology, because there was values placed on research and engineering and math, the STEM fields. Okay, so and that happened within a century. Before then, Europe basically led the world. All right, they embraced science and technology early. All right, the Industrial Revolution hit them first, and that fueled their power over the rest of the world. Okay, a lot of it was worked towards health and security and wealth, but the rest was like hegemony. Okay, that's how they chose to use their power of influence and wealth. You go back 1,000 years, the golden age of Islam out of Baghdad. with major advances in science and engineering, astronomy and medicine. 2/3 of all, and navigation, 2/3 of all stars in the night sky that have names have Arabic names, traceable from that period. You go back thousands of years before that, you have Egypt as one of the greatest cultures civilizations has ever seen. The pyramids were the tallest structures, stable structures, to exist in this world until the Eiffel Tower. Okay? So all I'm declaring here is no one country, no one region has eternal rights to leading the world. It's a combination of how enlightened is your leadership.
I'm so upset right now. Oh, please do not beg me. How dare they disrespect our president like that? Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the Jagaban of Lagos. Did you see how they treated the man at the BRICS summit? You know, the intergovernmental organization comprising of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, aimed at greater economic and geopolitical integration among member states. Tinubu was there representing Nigeria. The man was speaking passionately. Okay, well, he was speaking. And trust me, he wasn't even saying balablu bulaba this time around. Only for the two men sitting behind him to I'm very upset right now. First of all, they removed their translation headphones, the one that they were supposed to use to hear what the man was saying. Maybe they thought he was about to say something very important, but then they waited, they listened, and then they decided, nah, I'm good. Can you imagine? How dare you? The next thing, phones came out. One of them was scrolling through his phone. The other one decided to join him, also scrolling through his phone. While the president was talking, one of them even had the audacity to bring out his AirPods and he started vibing to something on his phone while the Jagaman was still talking. Abi, you didn't whine me. Can you imagine this kind of disrespect? You cannot even pretend to be listening to the man, even if his speech is boring. He's still a president. Show some respect, you know. Alhaji, in case you are watching, Emma Binujare, can you imagine? I was genuinely offended on behalf of Nigeria and the entire WhatsApp group of old African presidents. I was so upset too. But then, you know, when I took a critical look at the peripheral level of that equation, maybe they tuned out because even me, sometimes I tune out. I'm just saying, it's just that sometimes when the Nigerian president is talking like that, I'm like, where are we? See, God knows, I try to follow you, Alhaji, but it's not always easy. I'm not making an excuse for them. They were supposed to listen because they were in the public. Maybe I tuned out only once before, you know, but it is because Tinubu's speeches are not inspiring. Half the time, you need subtitles for the subtitles. Okay, that one is Buhari. I assure you.
I want to assure you, in this fight, I assure you that we shall do even better. I assure you, I will secure the country.
But Alhaji Jagaban, respectfully, you should fire your speechwriter. Ben, this thing is not by big grammar. You're no longer carrying people along, except when you speak from your heart, from your soroko soul. And more importantly, people are tired of hearing big grammar that doesn't match with reality. You know what he was talking about when they tuned out? Well, he talked about fairer global governance. Meanwhile, is our government in Nigeria fair? I mean, especially to the common man. Does Nigeria care about its citizens? The man talked about climate justice in Africa, but Nigeria's deforestation is one of the worst in the entire world. Right now, trees are vanishing like NEPA lights in Nigeria. Are we doing anything major about that? He talked about strong health system in Africa, but the man cannot even treat common cold in his own country, Nigeria. He jumps on plane to go to London every time just for checkup. He also talked about empowering the youth in Africa, and I'm like, let young people try to protest in Lagos, you know, or Abuja. The next thing you will hear is tear gas, water cannon, bullets, the kind of battalion that we've never seen in Zambisa forest. They will all come out. So you see, maybe those men weren't being rude by tuning out. Maybe they just read the news. Maybe they know that until African leaders start leading well at home, nobody will take them seriously abroad. So next time, Alhaji, this is just between me and you, before you try to save Africa, because the man kept saying Africa, please, maybe you should start with your own country, Nigeria. And you're welcome, by the way. I know I'm giving you free advice and you're not even paying me. I'm just saying, You can always call me on speed dial. So if you actually do the things you're talking about and you add more energy, and if you know that energy is going down, you can always step down and allow somebody else to do your
Greetings, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. For Have Your Say. The earlier session was for the interview. It's a bit of an unusual routine. The earlier session was meant to be the beginning of Have Your Say. But this is the first session of Have Your Say. And so you are all welcome to come and have your say. This is actually have your say, not have your say with evidence. You can have your say. I will just hear you out. And if other people would like to counter what you've said, they are allowed to counter it. And you are allowed to say what you want to say. But when it's when I feel like the statement or claim is a little bit out too much, then I might require some evidence, but it's not going to be have your truth. It's not going to be pressing you to provide evidence for assertions that are made. So I really thank you all for joining us today. And we are going to I've placed some of the videos already of the headlines. The president of the United States, Donald Trump, saying that he did like the way the Liberian president spoke. In other words, he didn't know Liberia spoke English as an official language. But that is not the point, is it? He did make our African leaders look like houseboys again. I don't know why they keep doing this. Do these leaders not watch all these videos of them looking and humiliating their people constantly? I noticed that the president of the United States invited 5, was it 5 or 4? I think it was 5 African leaders from Senegal, Mauritania, Guinea-Bissau, Gabon, and Liberia. So there are 5 of them. I invited them, and I think it's a strategic meeting to probably look for potential countries where they can locate their military base in Africa. Because if you look at the countries that were invited, they were mostly coastal nations and strategically positioned on the continent. Gabon is very important for America because if they can hold on to a place like Gabon, they can survey the water areas of Nigeria and other parts of that region, which is quite important. Cameroon and Nigeria are quite important. Senegal, very strategic. Mauritania, very strategic too. I don't know whether, sometimes it's easy for people to misconstrue my position and many of our positions. I must say that we just dislike the West because the West hasn't, with our relationship with the West hasn't provided us any kind of dividends of such relationships. So people feel like it's not always good. But who do you have to blame though? Is it them or us? Because the Japanese have relationship with them, the South Koreans do, the Taiwanese do, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Dubai, UAE, Qatar, all these countries are doing fine. So having a good relationship with the West does not condemn you to poverty, destitution. It doesn't, especially with the United States, particularly. For some reason, it appears that the countries that seem to show negative outcomes involve the actual colonialist countries, like the UK and France. Because if you look at the countries France has close relationship with, especially in Africa, it's terrible. They do very badly. You look at Niger, where they get quite a lot of their uranium to power their nuclear power plants in France. While Niger is, very, very underdeveloped, one of the poorest countries in the world. And if you look at the Francophone countries in Africa, apart from maybe Cote d'Ivoire and Senegal, the rest are rubbish. And even Cote d'Ivoire and Senegal are not doing very well too. So the relationship we are going to be having with America is up to us to make it good or up to us to make it actually bad. Maybe it's something we should have picked up on, that there's a slight difference between people that have good relationships with America versus people that have good relationships with the UK or France. Maybe there's a difference. I don't know, but it appears to correlate that if you have especially good relationship with the English, that's the UK, or especially good relationship with the French, you are bound to be extremely poor. But it doesn't correlate with America. If you look at the countries America have good relationships with, they seem to be, I don't know, maybe that's something, maybe you guys can touch on it and let us know why that is the case. They seem to be doing relatively okay. Now I'm going to go to this. Let me play this because there's this thing show did highlight an element of insecurity in Nigeria that is still going on, and I think that this is one of the videos highlighting insecurity in Borno State. This problem will never go away. It will only get worse if our leaders don't get their act together. And so let me just play this video so that we just get this one out of the way. It's about Boko Haram attack in Borno State.
At least 9 people have been killed and 4 others were injured as Boko Haram terrorists attacked the Malam Fatori community in Borno State. The incident occurred about 270 kilometers from Maiduguri near the Chad border. Governor Babagana Umara Zulum sent a delegation led by the Commissioner for Local Governments to meet with families of victims and provide financial compensation. He assured that the Borno State government will provide the military security to the community. The government has planned to deploy excavators to dig trenches around the local government headquarters to prevent future attacks and warned residents against collaborating with Boko Haram insurgents. The Commissioner for Information and Intelligence.
These people are actually showing the video of Chad leader or Nigerian. Are they crazy? You see, they don't even do their homework anymore. This looks like a Chadian leader. Let me just carry on.
Also announced plans to resettle 3,000 displaced families in Malam Fatori, bringing the total number of resettled households to 5,000. The attack is part of a broader Boko Haram resurgence across northeastern Nigeria. Since early 2025, Boko Haram and its Islamic State alliance splinter group ISWAP have staged multiple assaults on military and civilian targets using tactics such as seizing outposts, planting roadside bombs, and launching night raids. And for the latest, our correspondent Louisa Olaniyi has sent us this report from Lagos.
The continuous attack by Boko Haram insurgents in northern Nigeria has continued to be a source of worry despite government's efforts and outright claims of decimating them. The weekend's attack at the Malam Fatori community in Borno State, Nigeria, saw 9 people killed and 4 injured. The state governor, Babagana Zulum, confirmed the attack, warning residents against aiding the insurgents. He has since condoled with the families of those affected. This is part of a recent surge in Boko Haram violence, with the group targeting civilians and military posts. The state is now deploying excavators to fortify the town with trenches. We recall the military had hampered Boko Haram activities much in recent years, but it appears the insurgents are regularly strategizing against military tactics. From Lagos, Nigeria, Louisa Olaniyi, WION, World is One.
So that is that news regarding insecurity. Now, I think there is one regarding this Kebbi I think it's regarding Kebbi, 2.185 billion for Kebbi ex-councillor. I don't know why they are giving people equivalent of £1 million, but they will probably tell us why. I don't know who knows about the case. You guys will probably enlighten us on that. So let me play the final video before we commence. Have your say. It's regarding this Gabonese president. He went to the White House too, and he was the few that I found to be a little bit well spoken. He seems to represent his country very well in terms of saying he is open to doing business with America. He will be welcome them with open arms, but they will need to process the materials within the country. He's the only one to say that. The others were just like, come and take, please. We have so much resources, come and take. And Trump was like, you're wasting too much time. Let's go to the next person. Okay, let me play this video and before we get on with it. It's really embarrassing the way our African leaders behave. It's really embarrassing. I don't know when they are going to really stop embarrassing their people like this. Let me just play this.
Of Gabon just returned from the United States, waving a MAGA hat. Yes, that MAGA hat. Bright red, bold letters, and what looks like Donald Trump's autograph right on the front. General Olusegun Nguema, coup leader turned president, landed to cheers, smiling and saluting the crowd with a campaign souvenir from another country's election. The message? Unclear. The optics? Unmistakable. Imagine Emmanuel Macron returning from Washington wearing a Make America Great Again hat, or the German Chancellor rocking a Keep America First shirt at Berlin Airport. Unthinkable, right? But in Gabon, it's a real moment, and not everyone's applauding. Online, the comparison is already being made. Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso would never. Because there's a difference between partnership and pandering. One strengthens your nation, the other makes you a souvenir. So
we have, sorry about that. We have played them all and we have all seen them all now. Where do we start from here? You know, I have to, I don't know whether we should all be consoled and be wished condolences, because I think every week we are just being embarrassed by our leaders. No apologies for it. It's just, I don't know where this is going to end, man. All right, so let's start. I think who was first? I think that was Jagon was first. Welcome, Jagon. I don't know what you make of these headlines. Which one are you looking for? The Tinubu one or Nnamdi Kanu's release? You know, what do you think?
Thank you, and welcome yourself. Thank you for hosting the show. I must reiterate my position with you being the preference of our hosts. So I hope they don't snap your show in half again. Anyway, for me, I just want to touch on the embarrassing level that you speak of African leadership. Yeah, this is my main gripe where Africa is concerned, particularly Nigeria, Nigerians, or any African. Looking at what the Ramaphosa for me was a failure in going to America and to be put in a court of Donald Trump. You know, if that was me, when Donald Trump came with those pieces of rags of paper telling me that this is my country, I would have told him immediately that, look, my friend Donald Trump, I'm not in court. You can't question me like I'm in court. I'm a president. I haven't come to be in court with you. Those rags that you have are complete rubbish. And I don't know why you're bringing me all the way to the White House to put rubbish in my face. That's how I would have handled him. To be honest, I would have never allowed anybody. I'm a sovereign leader of a whole nation, and I'm your guest, and you're treating your guest as somebody who is answerable to you. Are you stupid? He would have never got away with that with me. Never in his life. Him now speaking to the Liberian president that your English is good. I would have told him that your English is bad. Your English is rotten. You know, a lot of people, they don't, you know, my presentation on this platform, I think a lot of people are either they like me or they don't like me, you know, and I think even my mother, even my mother, she doesn't like the way I present myself in terms of the way she reckons I don't have respect because I'm not bowing and scraping all day long. I can't behave like that. I keep telling my mom that the culture in Nigeria particularly, let me talk about the Yoruba culture. Well, I won't say any other. Yoruba culture, it needs updating, serious updating. We are living our minds in the past, which is allowing oppression to reign in our nation. Oppression reigns, and it reigns not through the politicians that are terrible. It reigns directly inside the families that we have that behave in with impunity, really, with the Nigerian upbringing could be seen as oppressive. It could be seen as shrinking. Sometimes I have to ask my people, do you know I'm a man? I am a man. You see, me personally, I don't want to blame anybody or anything. Or me personally, I think that Yorubas, the men of Yoruba, they don't behave like men. And I'm not saying that they behave badly or poorly. I'm saying that there's a way that a man behaves, that his truth and honesty is in front. That's a man. When you are putting your truth and honesty behind and you're in front, your face is doing like this, you're not a full human being. You're not a full human being. You're behaving like a rodent. You're not behaving like a man. And this is what I see with most African leaders and how they put themselves out in the world. The people who seem to me to behave in a strong way in Nigeria aren't the politicians. I think largely they may be the business people. And then secondly, I would say maybe one or two journalists that are out there that behave in a way that is quite strong. You know, apart from that, the level of credence that Nigerians offer anyone else who is not Nigerian is too much. It's too much. There needs to be a balance. This is part of my own understanding. Growing up, I've understood that this Nigerian thing, man, as strong as it is, it makes itself weak. Why are we so weak? We are weak, and people don't seem to really appreciate why. I tell you what, Yorubas, I'm speaking particularly about Yorubas now. Yorubas, their culture is a fine culture, an old culture, beautiful culture, to be honest, we all know. But there's something within our culture that allows women and the strength of women to come through. I suppose, I may be wrong, but possibly more than any other ethnicity in Nigeria. Given that, if that is the case, I also want to say that Nigerian mothers oppress their sons. Not all of them, but generally. They oppress their sons in a way that they don't make it to manhood. That's not everybody. I'm not talking everybody, but that's the culture. A lot of Nigerian men don't make it to manhood. They remain some kind of adolescent, some kind of, I don't know, begging. I don't know, but I'm not happy with it, generally. Generally, I'm not happy with it. You know, again, growing up in this country, me and my family, my brothers and sisters, we're about the only ones who used to fight physically, fight back. Because growing up in this country was tough. Growing up, my accent was strong. I spoke Yoruba in the school. People didn't really understand where I was coming from. So I had to fight. There were other Nigerians who they won't fight nothing. They'll just get beaten up there. I think, what kind of person are you, man? What kind of person are you? All my Jamaican friends, you know what they're telling me? All my West Indian friends, they said that you were the only one. You were the only one who used to be seriously proud of being Nigerian. And up to today, they will tell you that I wasn't taking any rubbish. I wasn't taking it. I hardly took it from my parents. My parents were great people, are great people. However, when they would try to stop me from doing what I was doing, I had to kind of ask why. I needed an answer. And they didn't like this questioning, which is understandable in the Nigerian context. But for me as an individual, there's something driving me inside as an individual. And that individualism, I have a stake in it. It's not just you as my parents that would now be telling me everything, every little minutiae that I need to be doing. I used to tell them. They couldn't believe it, the kind of person I was. So I would tell them that, Mommy, Daddy, look, this is what I intend. And I would tell them with strict, communication.
Yeah,
So
but,
for me,
how do we then contain our African leaders from doing some of all these? They are acting so inept globally. It's a bit embarrassing. When I used to see Obasanjo, I was in London. Then I wasn't paying attention to Nigeria that much. But the only time I saw him, he will come to the UK and you will see he will be holding his hand together like some kind of boy. And then he will see Monsieur. And every time I see him, it's like a boy. And I would have thought by now, 20-something years after, that our leaders will be striding the international stage with a level of confidence and this in agency. But still,
my brother, they can't do
doing the same
I
thing.
I tell you why they can't do it. Because the nation called Nigeria, the country called Nigeria, is not on par with the rest of the world. We build Abuja, half built. We try Lagos, it's a direct mess. We look at it. Nigeria is not, after all these years, after all the education, after all the skills that we've gathered across the world, we haven't made a nation. Why can you be proud? How can you go? Do you feel that you be the head of Nigeria? You're the head of Nigeria. You're in London for a conference. And, for anyone to abuse you, it's quite easy. It's quite easy for them to abuse you. And for that to be the case, you then act in a certain way so they don't go to that level. That's what it is. That's what it is.
So, okay, let's try to go on the actual meeting with Trump. Do you see any potential that, okay, like Qatar, all the other countries that have done business with America, because there appears to be, I never looked at it like that because we always lump the West all in one. But if you look at the countries America deal with directly, apart from Niger, it's very rare you find them like languishing in, abject poverty. They tend to build the country up there. The ones that are working directly with, I don't know whether they were working directly with Haiti. I don't know, but I know the ones outside that is not black they are working with, they seem to be doing okay. So, but the ones the British and the French are working with are the ones that seem to be doing worse, especially within the African context and the islands that these nations control. They are the ones that are doing worse. So, these African leaders that are talking to Trump right now, because Trump is also talking about selling them weapons and all the rest. Do you see any openings for potential business opportunity and at the same time nation building opportunity by working with America? Because America also helped, Rwanda and DRC to reach some kind of peace deal that we are still waiting to see how it's going to flesh out. So do you see any potential, or is it just going to be the same old things? And who do you blame? Is it America or our leaders?
No. I blame our leaders. Whilst America and the Western hegemony is there, and they are looking at ways of stopping what happens in these third world nations, I blame our leaders in Africa. You're right to speak about Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, the Emirates, all these countries who have really just come around in the last 10, 20 years. It's what they've done with the money that they've resourced. Yes, their populations aren't like ours, but what they have done with their money is of global standing. It brings them ahead of the West in terms of their infrastructure, or in terms of at least where their scope is. You can see where their mindset is by just looking at their nations. If you really have a good look at Lagos, you always see something nice and something, but Lagos is a dump. It's a dump. I mean, I don't know, what are you going to say? Are you going to pretend that it's not? It's a dump, bruv. And, you know, when I'm in Lagos and I see mud and water-logged areas, and in a street where people are passing every day, and nobody is looking at it and saying, what are we walking in? We are walking in mud. I remember I was in Onitsha, and I saw the most beautiful woman, dressed immaculately, walking in mud. What the hell's going on in this nation? You know, we don't practice healthily. We don't practice healthily. We practice theft, and that's what the nation is left to. You know, I don't believe that Nigeria is a nation of thieves, but we are definitely led by thieves. And when you are led by thieves, you behave. The nation will behave like criminals. I'll rest there for a while and come back when you're ready for me again.
All right, Jide, welcome. I appreciate you for joining us today. So you saw what happened, you know, the Gabon president. I thought he did well the way he presented himself before Trump amongst all the other leaders. It reminded me of the potential for ex-military officers that become civilian president to do well, because the others are mostly civilian leaders, and they all just tell it, come and take my resources. They come and take my resources, to the point whereby Trump was like, you are talking too long. Let's move it on. And which is embarrassing. What do you make of this potential for all this relationship? Is there any opportunities there, or is it just all a waste of time?
Thank you, forefathers. Thank you so much for having given me this opportunity. Good to see everyone on the panel. Everyone listening out the comment section. I greet everyone. Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, first of all, I'm not surprised. You see, these people, I don't see them as leaders. A lot of people that are running a lot of African countries, they are not leaders. They are rulers, and leaders always put their people first. We need to understand at this point, and these people, they are there for their own survival and power. They are not there to actually like lead the people and for their own people's interests. They are not even pretending anymore.
So, but what would you be hearing? Okay, let me ask you that. What would you be hearing from a leader that actually wants to put their people first? What do you think they would say if Trump invited them to that meeting?
Yeah, they have to emphasize their sovereignty. They have to emphasize the control of, like you talked about resources. I mean, talking about resources, you have to emphasize the fact that you are independent, you are sovereign. At the same time, you have to emphasize in a diplomatic manner they are willing to work with the country, but at the same time, you are not seeming to be sounding like you are dependent. These guys, they sound like they are dependent, and it is not the first time. They sound like they need help. They need help to survive. Like, this is their rhetoric. They want to be approved. They want to be validated by an American president. And it is not surprising. This is how puppets act. Because puppets, they always seek validation. They always seek approval, even when they're not doing well for their people. Even our current president, it's the same thing. Look at how much he's hated all over the country. Look at the hardship in that country. But you know what? It's validated in Europe and America. This is how the game works. These are puppets. These are servant boys. They are not even men. Like, these are not men. These are boys. These are old boys. It's a shame. I'm not surprised. And if you look at those countries talking out loud, I mean, Gabon, Mauritania, what's the name of the other one? Senegal. Look at their history. Let's take a look at their history. They don't have any imperialist history. You can talk about how their country is stable. Their people are very poor. Their people are very poor. They're living miserably. You know, the people are living miserably. Would I want a country where Nigeria is very stable and people are living in hardship? Of course not. That's not what I want. I'll prefer we fight and liberate ourselves and defeat the enemy and liberate ourselves, the evils that are controlling things, and we liberate ourselves and we develop our country to improve the lives of the people. I will always prefer that. But I mean, it's not surprising. Like, they don't have any dignity. And for crying out loud, man, we know the kind of person.
But let me ask though, Jide, I want to know, like America now, as we know America, do we have nations that America work closely with that are not doing well? Because I seriously want to know that, because so far I've been wondering, maybe nobody has bothered to check the data on that, because I noticed that the abject poor countries, then especially in Africa, tend to be the ones allied with the French and the British, and our leaders, they seem to be running to Britain and France constantly. But the ones that are working with America more closely around the world, they tend to be doing well. So maybe okay, give me examples of the ones that are working with America that are doing badly, because I would like to know more, because somewhere I've forgotten them.
They are endless leads. Okay.
Let's get them.
And the ones that are doing well, I have to explain.
No, the ones that are not doing well. I know the ones that are doing well, they have strategic reasons why.
Yeah.
But the ones that are not doing well, I want to see what they have.
Philippines is one example. Philippines, Azerbaijan, there are many.
Okay, let me check.
Libya is another example.
Philippines, Libya, no, Libya doesn't count now. They just bombed Libya many days ago.
Now they're now controlled by the US. Iraq.
They count. Iran is there. Iraq is there.
I said Iraq, yes. Iraq is now...
Isn't that recent?
Syria.
No, Iran is not recent. Neither is Iraq. They're not recent at all. They've been working with America.
Syria, for crying out loud. Syria is another example. Look at what's going on in Syria right now. I can let those up from Africa. I can give like
Philippines has a GDP per capita higher than that of Kenya even. And then if you look at Iraq, technically you can argue that they are just coming from, and to be fair, they are not even 100% American right now. They are not on the side of America 100%. They are still working with Iran. And,
but their leadership, the militias are maybe...
No, it's not just that. It's historically, Iran and Iraq have been played with America especially. Well, America and Britain, but America especially, since its beginnings. Especially Iran. I mean, when you look back on Iran's history and you look at what Mossadegh was doing,
I mean, there are many examples. I can go on.
He should have been kept. Mossadegh, if Mossadegh stayed in power, we wouldn't have the Iran that we had today. We wouldn't have that kind of Iran.
Yeah.
It'd be completely different.
Pakistan is another example. Pakistan is another example. India is another example.
No, Pakistan is half house. No, India, no. Okay, if we are looking at India is not doing too badly.
I mean, China is better. China is better than India right now. Indians want to come out.
Yes.
They are migrating.
But remember, hold on, slow down. I think this is interesting because I never looked at it from this lens before. China is doing well. In a way,
you does not have a good relationship with America.
Hold on, slow down. Okay. In a way, you are confirming my point. The reason why part of the reason why China is doing so well, apart from their military, their nuclear technology and everything, America is working with them on so many levels right now. Most of the trade America is doing is with China. So,
but we need to do that for strategic reasons.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing is happening with India now. They are working very closely with India. India is prospering. They are building their jet fighters, sharing their space program technologies, all kinds of stuff. Submarine technology with India, and India has gone to the moon. They have a space program. They have a nuclear weapon. Everything they have it. So
yeah, but
almost all the people that they work with are better than us. No,
what's the quality of life of their people?
Okay, let me check GDP per capita for India. I don't know. India, no, by and large, they are richer than Nigeria. You know, that I like to think anyway. I'm not 100% GDP per capita. Let me confirm it because from the zeitgeist, it appears they are doing better, but let's confirm it. Okay, their GDP per capita is about twice what that of Nigeria is. But before now, it's almost equal to what that of Nigeria is. Let me get the most recent one. It's 2,600, 2,700 really. While Nigeria is 1,000 something. But Nigeria used to be 2,000 something before this president came.
But we also need to look at the context, right? I mean, the difference is not so much, but we also need to look at the context of India.
It's not so much. But America started doing more close business in India recently. It's not before now. It's when they started looking to compete with China. That's when, and because India had a very strong tariff against American goods, that they were charging them 100% to come into America, into their country. That's why they don't have a lot of American cars in India. So, but my point is that the countries that they are working with right now seems to be they are doing relatively well, I have to say.
Well, not really.
Can you give me the bad ones? Like, give me the bad ones now.
Syria is one example.
Syria doesn't count though. Syria is just how many days ago?
No, it's not days.
When?
Look at Syria right now. They are it's getting worse.
No. See. But that is just how many days. Hold on.
How many days? Come on. Don't say that.
Trump went to
there.
No, let's be fair. Trump went to the Middle East just how many weeks ago?
And he called Jolani a freedom fighter or something.
Yes, he did. Calm down. He did that. But the point is that they are not fully in bed with Syria yet.
Fully in bed.
No. We have to speak truth. No. See, let's not be dogmatic about this.
Okay.
Because I really wish you were naming countries like, let's say, Niger.
Cameroon is another example.
Is Cameroon very close to America?
Or
France.
That's a strong ally with France and America. I mean, yes. I mean, but Bob doesn't have to go to.
Are you sure? That's France. That looks like France to me. That looks like the fingerprint of France.
I think I'm mixing things up. See, for America to control certain countries, the president does not have to go and visit Washington, D.C. America's control over countries is through institutions and overt operations, and it's not through direct control. Most of that's why America have been operating since the Second World War.
But the one I'm talking about is about the ones that they are actually dealing with right now. Is it that you don't go through like it looks like? Let me explain what I'm saying. It looks like when you go through UK or go through France as a conduit to America, you do very badly. But if you go to America directly, the ones that are dealing with America directly, the nations, I'm neither here or there. I'm just looking at the evidence, and I was asking you to present me a countering evidence of nations that are dealing with America.
I just mentioned them to you, like Syria.
Cameroon is not dealing with America. Come on, Cameroon. That one doesn't. Syria doesn't count now. How many days now? You give it some time. How can you just say a few weeks that Syria is going to be like Dubai? It's not going to be like that. We don't know yet, but we know Jordan. We know UAE. We know Qatar. We know Kuwait.
I've explained it. I don't want to start going back again. I've explained why these countries are doing very well.
Why?
I've explained in the past why these Gulf countries are doing very well.
Why are they doing very well?
They're doing very well because, number one, they're given the leeway to invest in their country unconditionally. They have been given leeway by their leaders to develop their country and to be independent.
So it's not America that is causing it.
Number one.
Hold on.
That's number one. Number two, I still think we still do not understand how imperialism really works. So the way imperialism works, it's not like all over the world they will impoverish everybody and America and Western Europe will develop. That's not how imperialism works. For imperialism to be successful, there have to be some certain regions and certain countries that have to be impoverished. Now, the reason why Gulf countries like Jordan, UAE, Qatar, they are what are they calling it? They are satellite states like Japan, like South Korea. Those countries, they need them to develop to promote complete a kind of partial stability in the region, so that those ones will serve their interests. It's different from what you have in Africa. It's completely different, and that's number one. Number two, look at those countries. Look at the amount of foreigners that are living in those countries. Look at the percentage compared to the indigenous population. Look at Qatar. Look at the amount of foreigners now compared to the indigenous populations. Go and look at the dynamic. It's different. Saudi Arabia is another example. Saudi Arabia, they gave them a condition that as far as your oil is in petrodollar, you have a sovereign fund to develop your country economically.
So, but what is wrong with that, though?
There's nothing wrong with that. But that's what I'm saying. Every country, they have their strategic.
But the question, so what you are saying is if America comes to you, you do business with them, you are likely to be fine.
That's not necessarily the case. That's what I'm explaining.
Okay, let's bring it. Let me say I hear you.
I have to say something. One more. I have to just say one more thing. I have a question for you, forefathers, so that you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. This is probably how everybody will understand. Everybody that is listening will understand. Because I want people to understand this point very well. Like some of the concerns you are raising. IMF and World Bank, do they have any influence in any of these countries? Yes or no? Jordan, Saudi Arabia? No. Anyone can go and check it. But in African countries, we're talking about America, right? And how they have influence on all these countries. All these so-called countries, Nigeria, Cameroon, all these countries that are poor in Africa, they are influenced by IMF and World Bank. The countries that are resisting them, they do not have any influence. They do not have any influence by IMF and World Bank.
But hold on, though. Let me ask you. Let me ask you now. Hold on. Calm down. Let me ask you. If you had to pick between IMF and World Bank, which one influences Africa most?
What do you mean?
If you had to pick between IMF and World Bank, which one influences Africa the most?
Both of them go hand in hand. It's not one against the other.
Are you saying they are equal or one is more present?
They are both under Brookings system. Why will I forget this thing? I forgot the name of that institution. I don't want to give any false information. I think it's Brookings. I'm wrong right now. I can't remember the name for crying out loud. But those two, they're like 5 and 6. They go hand in hand. They provide financial aid in different contexts. IMF and World Bank. So where IMF is, World Bank is there. So that was what I'm saying, that all those countries that you mentioned, IMF and World Bank do not influence them.
Coach is saying it's World Bank, but when you hear African leaders talking, they often mention IMF. And IMF is more of a European.
It's an American. No, it's American.
Yes, but it's more European leaning. They are not necessarily. No. I think World Bank is more tied to America than in the IMF.
Both of them are America. Their headquarters is here in Massachusetts, bro.
Okay, fine. I will check it out. But that said, these institutions also deal with. I think they also deal with any country, even the UK. They deal with the UK too. My take is still stands. I will ask Monday Okpehbolo. 2028. I will ask him what he thinks about it, because this is going to be interesting. Because I'm beginning to try to look at the ledger again because of this event that occurred in Washington. That is it because Trump said he can do business, and I know Trump the first time sold weapons to Nigeria. He sold it to Kanu just that those devil. Let me not be biased. The Democrats.
Someone just said it now. It's Britain Wood's decisions. Thank you.
Britain Wood. Nice one.
Britain Wood. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was what I remember.
Nice one. Nze Anuedo. Thank you for that. So Trump said he can do business. He can sell weapons and stuff to Africa. Maybe this is an opportunity. Maybe it's an opportunity for Tinubu to go there and say, you know what, we want the best. We don't want Kanu. We don't want Chinook.
Sorry, can you take off the comment section, please? Please.
What is your problem? Are you hating?
No. It's sometimes very toxic.
Distracting you?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you let me ask Okpehbolo 2028. Do you see a difference between the way America deals with its allies versus the way the British and the French deals with theirs?
Thank you, good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.
I'm laughing because the question is funny. There's only one power in the house. That's the United States, right? Now, I think the issue that you are going back and forth with the IMF or whatever, there's no difference. What is the difference between the two of them? And Jide is trying to point out how neo-colonialism work and all that kind of stuff. The question we should be asking is that, what is the United States interest before you begin to talk about your own interest, right? I'm not putting them first, but when you are in a competition, if you see yourself that this is a competition, right? But in my own life, that's not what the case. But if you say this is a competition between two nations, after you know your interest, you have to also analyze what's that person's interest, right? America is not interested in anybody's thinking out. They're interested in resources. Because Tunanja, if you have your own money, you can do whatever the heck you want with it. So their goal is to make sure whatever money you have, they are the one responsible for you having it. Doesn't matter how it comes. So in other words, they are only interested in any nation resources. How? Their goal is that regardless of where that resources is located, it should benefit American company first. That's their goal. Now it's not left for you, whether you allow it happen or not. So they are not interested. No, they have every ways to get into that your resources, right? That you have to start analyzing history, how the British did it. They have to come to you directly, oppress you, transfer your wealth. Americans know they use the current technology. They use your own people to control your resources. So anytime we say we'll not get freedom, that's exactly what we're talking about. They use resources for their own benefit first. It doesn't matter whatever is left for you to take care of people. That's not their concern. If you let that happen. So if you look around the world, that's exactly anywhere they don't have access to their satisfaction, that's where there is problem. All right? So that's where freedom is. Every nation that is standing their ground today to say, go to hell, they have control of their resources. Their resources is nationally predicated. That's what Iran is facing. Iran control their oil. Even though America will find a way to block everybody to stop patronizing them, they still find a way to do it with China. So, and because Iran have access to their oil, they can do whatever they want to do with. They want to build nuclear weapons. You understand? So you now if you now bring our own into the context, Nigeria, that's why I keep saying economically we don't control our economy. I be oil Niger data person. My brother worked for oil company for 20-something fucking years. I know how the system works on oil. No be we they control our oil. Nobody can tell you how many oil they go illegally. I will talk of the legal ones. Illegally first. Where pipe just take the push out of this country. Nobody knows. So now you can say, okay, now problem, but again, they will use us to control our own resources. So that's where the conversation. So again, it's I think about 5 or 6 years ago, I said on one man should America select their president 40 years ahead. People say, shut up, we're gonna conspiracy. What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm not saying they will mention the name of the person. No, 40 years is just 3 generations. They know how those generations will behave, how many ways they will control. So they know the kind of person will go to get their attention. And Donald Trump fits into this example. So everything that we're analyzing here is the performance of Donald Trump. The policy that make those men to visit it, that make them to be in us university. Nobody's talking about it, which is important, right? But we are talking about the performance, the theatrics, right? I say, this man, good English, that matter, that does not even matters. They're telling us they're going to put us in
the thing is, you know how when you get contract in Nigeria, you give one person contract, that person go and give another person contract. Is that not what is going on? We all know America is at the top of the pyramid, but if African countries keep going through the UK and France and maybe Spain.
Hold on. The UK, the Spain, all of them are under the control of the United States of America.
Yeah, but that's the point I'm making. But why are we going through the UK and France? Why not go straight to America?
They want to sign contract with this platform, this show. Instead of me to talk to Amechi, I should talk to you or talk to show. Doesn't make any sense. I go for the winner. So it doesn't matter how you deal with British. It doesn't matter how you deal with French. That one doesn't count, right? Because then they can't actually do anything. In today's world, they cannot do anything without the go-ahead of the United States. They can't. Unless Americans know what.
They could. No, they could. Let me put it this way. They could if we put ourselves below the British and the French. Because then America will be like, okay, you are the one dealing with them. As long as you do this, I'm fine.
let me put context to it. Anything that will affect the interest of America in Nigeria, which is pretty much the economy, they're not going to allow it happen. Every other thing, they don't really concern them.
Exactly. So whether they keep us poor or
No,
not, they
so
don't care.
what I don't ask you this question before. How come among all our elites, all our leaders, for the past 30 years, none of them champion nationalism? Why? What's going on? Are they scared? What are they scared of? Because that is the only way you can actually face what is actually troubling us. How do we make sure our resources is under our control, the people, right? Nobody changes that, because all these our leaders, all of them are the agents that the West are using to have access to control our resources. That's what I mean. Now, that's why I say, when they say don't blame the West, I agree. But if we say we should focus on our people, none of these people, none of them, we deserve our vote or our focus. Because all of them are what agent of this institution that you guys are talking about. There's no difference between IMF, World Bank, whatever you call it. All of them are American what instruments of make sure protect their interest. That's what
Okay,
this
but
is about.
I
That's
have to
what this is
mention,
about.
thank you
the
so
point I'm
much
making is
on our
quite
politics.
different. I'm just saying that the influence of America reduces when you go through a middleman. And I think maybe if we deal with America directly, maybe things will be slightly different.
No, it
I don't
doesn't
know.
work that way.
I don't know. I'm just looking at the numbers to see that deal with them directly.
We are not dealing. We are not dealing with anybody. We just want to be in control of our resources, and anybody who is not in control with us should get out of the way. Then whoever want to come and negotiate with us should come. Nobody will go negotiate with them. It doesn't happen.
But let me ask
Now
you though. Let me ask you.
Don't shout. You don't
Okay,
have
let
to
me just
shout.
ask you. Do you think
I'm not shouting.
no,
I'm not
I'll bring
shouting.
you in
That's
after the
just
question.
that's shouting.
I'll bring you after. I'll bring you in, KJ, now. Just after I ask him this last question. Sorry about that, KJ. Do you think? Just give me a brief answer, Ovie, please. Do you think Saudi Arabia controls its natural resources?
No.
Okay, thank you for that. KJ, so you saw our 4 African leaders now, 5 of them actually. The small countries, they pick the small ones. You see, that's why it's not good to be breaking countries to small ones. They pick small ones and say, you know what, this was, we can use them, do whatever we like with them. They will be begging us. So they brought them in to the White House, and Trump was treating them like boy. So, but what do you make of it before I even start asking questions? What do you make of the entire episode? What happened there?
You only become what you want to accept. Gabon, for instance, is 2.4 million people. In fact, to be precise, 2.485 million people. And they can decide to reduce themselves to that population. Estonia is not even up to Gabon, but the whole, fast in technology, and is looked at as one of the countries that have gone digital much more than any other European or any other nation right now. And they are very small, but they can make their mark, and their people live a very, very, very satisfactory lifestyle, and they are small, and they have very little natural resources like we have. So it is left to the African leaders who are not leaders, but just like somebody have described them as boy. They're even worse than boy because boy can even know what is in the kitchen and what in fact, your boy can decide to cook and eat the best part of the chicken before bringing it to the restaurants. So, but in this case, we have people who are neither interested in our development nor the development of the land in which they try to rule. And so it becomes double jeopardy for our people. These people offer them and their children a very secure environment, and their monies are safe in their bank, which they use in doing their business in those countries. And then they come, maybe after every 3 months, they'll come back to Nigeria or to their own countries and come and, spend some time and go back. As far as I know, can remember, Paul Biya has been in a foreign country for the last 30 years, and yet he's still a leader of a nation. So what do you expect of that? Nothing. Now, coming back to what Trump said, Unfortunately, the man didn't behave, and I don't think he's a proper African. He didn't behave like an African, the head of state. Because if you have asked me that question, I will answer you just the same way I answer some people who come and tell you, is it true that, they live on trees in Africa? I say yes. And the American embassy is the one with the biggest tree. In fact, it's on top of the biggest Iroko tree in the place. And they say, oh, no, you mean the American embassy? Oh, no, that's not true. Then also, okay. So if the American embassy is not on top of the tree, then people live in houses. So that way, you will send it back to the person nicely, packaged very well. If you ask that question, I will say, yeah, I'll answer him the way that he himself not only feel insulted, but belittled also. It is very, and then on the other hand, forefather, I don't want to go with other people who think he was being demeaning. The guy doesn't know much. It's possible he doesn't know. Do you know that majority of Americans don't even know that Africa has 54 states, 54 different nations. They don't know. They think when they just say you're going to Africa, they think it's one small place. Until you say, oh, somebody have met me and said, you are in Nigeria. I say you are an African. I say yes. Do you know Gabon? So they said, do you know Ghana? I say, yeah, Ghana is like 4 countries away. He said, you mean you're all not in the same place? I say, no, we all not in the same place. Really? Oh, wow. I used to think you're all in the same place. No. Ghana is 4 countries away from me.
Yeah, but how about bringing 5 presidents, talking to them all at the same time? How many have you seen Trump do that before now, where you have 5 presidents of different countries talking to them and just wanting to finish the conversation within 15 minutes or so?
No, it is what is forefather. My mother used to say something. If you bring your wares to the market, anybody can price you now. Go feel stop madman when come market, make no price what you come out for. Is that market concern? These people just rush because they are being called, and then they just come without any prior arrangement. What's going to go on? Even if you assume you want to talk to all of them at the same time, everybody should be able, everybody should be able to determine at what level you play. See, you asked something about IMF and the World Bank. The chicken and the egg, which comes first? Chicken and egg, where are they different? This is what have been used. This is what have been used to keep Africa where we have been, my brother. How many times you are living in England? How many times have the IMF come to tell the English people how to run their economy, what they should do, devalue your money, do this and do this, remove this subsidy? How many times? And then you ask yourself, are we not learning? I was in secondary school when Babangida took the SAP. Okay, despite that the whole country said it should not be taken, he took it. Since that time to today, has it not been a roller coaster, free roll that we have been rolling downhill? It's getting worse and worse, and yet we still hog onto that advice coming from these people. I don't care if Ngozi Konjo-Iweala is one of the leaders of this thing. You see, for me, if you ask me, forefather, all these are agents of the same, the same estate. They are not different from what you see, and they cannot be working there and be different from the policy that those people are churning out. It's like saying, let's listen to her because she's from. No. We will listen to what is best for us. It is unfortunately, and just like you alluded earlier, we don't have people who are leaders. Remember what I told you, as I said on this panel. A friend of mine, the father came back and told them that he was leaving. It was Obasanjo's regime. The man, a Yoruba man, I won't call his name because of this. He came back from the distance and said, look, Ebon, at the end of this, he was saying, I'm not coming back to this place. And he said, do you know that when I went to America, it was people of 24, my son, their age, that was sitting on the other side of the table discussing with us. He felt insulted. And how was he able to keep up with that? And that's why Obasanjo, somebody said Obasanjo, I don't know which program I listened, somebody said Obasanjo is one of those people. No, it is you, Papa, who said it. Obasanjo still today happens to be one of the best we have had so far. Obasanjo could stand and tell them to their face, no, this is why I bring you one followers. He could say that. Many of us can say that. Okay, now, one way again.
I disagree with you on Obasanjo. But anyway, I'll give it to my time.
It is my view. Now, Obasanjo, in his regime, this man went, told the people, after the first meeting, he went and told the Nigerians living in that, in DC, Bring me technocrats that are Nigerians. I want them to be in the meeting tomorrow with me. In the meeting that evening, they assembled the Nigerians. I'm telling you, some Nigerians who use their senses. They assembled the Nigerians, and he said to them, look, you are my children. What these people are talking yesterday, I don't understand it. These are the papers they gave us. We're not going to sign it until people read it tomorrow. All of you are coming to attend this meeting with us. That's how they researched those papers, brought out the things that they wouldn't have ever seen. What that will hit the hidden messages in the line. And the next day, because these boys are training in America, they understand the language, they understand everything. They went now, it was a different ball game when they saw that they had brought some people who understand the same lingo that they are speaking. Gentlemen and ladies, the world has changed. See, my cell phone here, the way my son operates it, even better than me. My son is just 10 years old. Okay? So every generation has an understanding of whatever is available to them at that time. We read Adam Smith as economics. They're not reading Adam Smith any longer. Some of them don't even know who Adam Smith is. Okay? We must come to, you see, until Africa comes to that, forefather, until we come to the point where we say, look, we have done our own leadership. Let the younger people take over. Until the mates of Azikiwe, Awolowo, who are still in government, the owners of Nigeria, until they step back and allow younger people to take over the saddle. My brother, we did far. Look, you think, forefather, just think for a moment that you are the president of Nigeria for now. Do you think you're going to buy Escalade, 5 of them, 6 of them, and put on your convoy? Because for you already, your head is telling you how much are you going to pay the drivers, how much are you going to fuel, how much are you going to pay time. For what reason? You won't do that because you're not trying to impress anybody. You think you're going to take 500,000 naira, or is it implied? And I hear now it's almost 10 million naira to sew one of those agbada with embroidered. You think you're going to do that? What are you doing with the agbada? Who is going to be looking at you? Obama was going to campaign. Obama was in the office and he's going. He wears his tie. When he gets to the field, he's losing his tie, folds his long sleeve to this point to show you that I have not come here to play grammar. I have come to work. Let us get down to the business. And then you are coming. You're going to visit people who are grieving. You wear all the embroidery, and then you go there and talking. When shall we grow up? I want to see that, and I'll end with this. There was a time that the king of Babylon wanted to deal with Israel. He went there, and after conquering Israel, he took everybody's men, anybody who is anything, whether you are whatever talent you have, they took it away from Israel and left every other person who was left there was lazy people who are dying and all that. They left all the every man with skill was taken away. And God cried out, say, this Babylon, I have to destroy because you have destroyed my people. Why? Every talented person I've taken away. Who is going to build a society? That's what these guys are doing to us. And that's what their masters are telling them to help do. Because forefather, you're supposed to be in Nigeria now, Abi. You're there in England, they apply your skills. See Jide here. They see my man when they drive boat. I be boat no day for Nigeria. It's there that they enjoy the sea. But we have all this in our place. Okay? They are taking the best out. And they know the policies they use to take the best out. And leaving every person, and then taking the worst of the ones they've left behind to be the leaders of the people who are there, even those who can make a difference. Okay? Are not even allowed to come near the saddle. How then do we make a change? How? Look at it. How do you make a change? Everybody who is anything, okay, when they notice that, forefather has the ability to change these people, they will make sure that you become the enemy of the state.
But KJ, though, is it so? Because I'm beginning to question things. So, because these countries that are doing so well, that are working directly with America, is making me question things.
I'm finished with this. Forefather, you and I have witnessed 2 cycles of election. I mean, at least since I started coming to this, we have witnessed 2 cycles of election. Did any American presidential candidate go to Africa to address Africa?
No, not at all.
Did they go to England to address England?
Not at all.
The two political circles were witnessed in Nigeria. All the presidential candidates went to address them in Chatham House. Who is Chatham House? Who is Chatham House? It's just like an international conference center in Abuja. Why do we need to go? Why does our presidential candidates need to go to Chatham House and hold a press conference?
Well, how do we stop these people now? We all don't like it. Why do they keep doing it? How do we stop them? Because they keep doing things we don't like.
That is what I'm saying. You see, that's what the viewer was trying to answer earlier. They go there, go tell your master, say, this one I go do, this one I go do, this one won't assume can do. If you go get Kelly, go say, no, if we're not going to do it, we won't give you this power. Say, okay, make gonna leave and I go do it. That's what's going on. And then when you finish that one, you come to Nigeria, you go and meet the owners of Nigeria. Those owners of Nigeria, I've called them here before. I won't call them again. You go and meet them and say, okay, based on this, they say, see our own scorecard. Don't do this on this region. Don't do this on this region. Don't do this on this region. Any other thing you can do. And that's why we are where we are. Let's not. This is the truth. It is bitter, but it's the truth. And that's why you.
But it's not only Nigeria is happening to, though. That's the thing. Those people still own Congo, Senegal, all those places. The outcome of our people seems to be in our own heads. It's like we are the problem.
Different from what's happening in Nigeria.
Pardon?
What's happening in those places are different from what's happening in Nigeria.
Some of them is worse. So if you look at Somalia, Congo, and DRC, but our own, my thing is that I just feel like maybe we should be telling our leaders to stop those things and let them just go there and reach agreements that are actually beneficial to their people, because they seem. See, I've seen our defense minister once. The British defense minister came to the UK, come and meet Nigerian's defense minister. I played the video here, and you can see that British defense minister was nervous. He was telling our defense minister, "Tell us what you need, anything you want, we're going to do it for you." That he was saying, "Just tell us, just tell us." He was saying that. Our defense minister didn't ask anything. He just gave us training and a truck. Give us training and a truck.
I'll leave what
they are our problems.
I'll leave what I do.
Let
me bring.
Sorry, I'm not going to take. I'll just say something very important. It's very, very important.
Okay.
Within a minute. So what you said, you are still taking this out of context. Those Gulf countries, they are completely different from any third world countries. So there's one thing we need to understand. UAE, they have over 80% of their population of expatriates. Kuwait, over 60% of the population are expatriates. Bahrain, over 50%.
What does it mean? What does that mean? Don't start listing.
These expatriates, they dominate. They are even more overpopulated than the indigenous population in finding urban development.
That's simple economics. You don't seem to understand the reason why.
No.
Stop shouting. Stop shouting. Jide, please stop shouting. That's not how to communicate.
No, what I'm saying is
I don't agree with what you're saying.
Well, urban developments. No, when you have more, you're talking about professionals dominating your country. It plays a role in improving your economy, in improving.
I was an expatriate in Qatar for 2 years. I was an expatriate.
No, you see, Jide, brother, you go on too long, and we, instead of coming to the point, the thing is, these countries have small populations.
Yes.
And they are awfully rich, so they can afford a second-class, not even citizenry, a second-class people who they can bring in and basically work for them. There's only a few of these countries that are now coming to the region that we have to train ourselves as well. Otherwise, we're all just sitting kings, and then there's this massive population under us who are experienced. They have a way to go.
Your audio is shaky.
They're different simply because they're wealth. They are different. They're different simply because of their wealth. Their wealth.
Jago, your audio is fading in and out.
I was once an expatriate in Qatar for 2 years. I think I have authority here to speak on this issue. I was in Qatar for 2 years legally.
Okay.
You understand?
So what do you want to add?
They recruited me as a club, as a Qatar's club, owned by the son of the Attorney of Qatar. What I kind of agree with what Jargon is saying, right? They can afford all kind of class of citizenship, right? So when you go to a place like Qatar, there are different of class of citizenship. Now, when I say they don't have control over their resources, that there are so many questions you just need to ask yourself for you to understand. How come they don't produce anything? I mean, you know, if you are so wealthy and free, you don't leave what will keep you alive, either your food, your clothes, and everything, in the hands of other people, especially the people who are not even aligned with your ideology or your religion or your way of life. So those are just the questions you need to ask. So everything is being dictated in a way. Of course, just like Jagon said, there are few. So the money they have is more than enough for them to, just like Qatar, for instance, the expatriates, just as Chile was saying, with the expatriates are pretty much more in numbers than the Qatari citizens. Qatari citizens don't work. You don't see them. You just see them cruising in high, living their best life. Right?
Just to put this in context further, Nigeria has less than 5%. Less than 5%. Less than.
That's 5%. Because they can afford it, but still, their dream.
I'm not disagreeing.
Hold on. Their dream is for them to be in charge of their life, produce whatever they want, including weapons. That's their dream. That's everybody's dream. Be in charge of your life, your survival. That's what they don't have. Right? That's what everything is being brought to them. Everything.
To be fair, though, I'm just checking what Qatar is doing. They are making. Sorry, Qatar, not Qatar necessarily. I know of UAE. Where Dubai is. They are doing a lot of technological innovation. Some of the most advanced technology that's happening in the Western Hemisphere is happening in that country, and they are producing agriculture. They own a lot of land in Africa. They bought many land. I can't even count how much land they own in Africa. So they are getting into agriculture more and more now. So in terms of production, they have more than enough money to feed themselves in terms of land mass to farm to feed themselves. The question it still stands.
Not in their nations.
Yeah.
Those
look at Egypt now. Egypt too, that doesn't have even oil and anything.
Egypt has oil. Egypt has oil.
Do they depend on it for?
Egypt is not the most prosperous country in Africa.
Yeah, Egypt is not a major oil exporter.
No, it's not. But they have oil and they export it.
Yeah,
I think Nigeria is the most prosperous country in Africa.
I don't think they are like anywhere close to Nigeria in terms of. Maybe I'm wrong, but I will need
they're not close to Nigeria.
Jagon, do you agree? Nigeria is the most prosperous nation in Africa.
I do.
Even though we know, I mean, it's hard to say, but it's still. I mean,
it's true.
Prosperous.
This is it is the most. It's the wealthiest country in Africa. It has the most potential in Africa. The most
potential, not the most prosperous.
No.
Ongoing,
currently, this is. I mean, in terms of trying to measure the wealth of Africans, when you look at Nigeria's GDP, is one thing. Then you look at the of goods that Nigeria had, natural goods, agriculture to minerals. That's another. Then you look at some of the level of innovation that we have that we're not really paying big attention to. But we have more innovators, I believe, as individuals than any other African. It's only that we don't make use of these things. And the culture of our own communication is so terrible that...
Jago, if you don't mind, let me come in. Why I said that, look, you just have to know, yes, we might disagree with the level of our development, but there's no country in Africa that has more cities, at least in African development, than Nigeria.
And not only are they cities, they're not new cities. These are cities that have been there for ages. They've been there.
Related to other countries, they are still well developed than every other part of the country, every other country.
One, you have to take into account that Nigeria is the most populated. But if you say you pull out the population of a region or somewhere in Nigeria and say, okay, compare how many cities they have with this population per city, you probably see similar development in other African countries. So it's because Nigeria is so massive compared to other African. Ghana is 30-something million. Nigeria is 230 million. So that is almost how many times? Almost 10 times more than that of Ghana.
Sorrow, I think the issue is that are we going to accept refugees, deportees or not? Because that is not for me. That's what is on the table. That's why I say for God
No,
the
no,
drama.
no. We are not going to accept that. I don't think Nigerians. The
Well,
Nigerian
I beg, bring Ike
like that.
on. Bring Ike on so he can have his say. Make a step aside. Yes.
Do you trust Nigerian leaders like that, Jaguan, Ike, and Jide? Do you guys actually say on the long run?
There are certain things Nigerians don't accept. There are certain things Nigerians don't accept. I can assure you, this is one of them. Nigerians will just be like, is this where we are now? Nigerians, they may not be anything, no, but they have their pride. Misplaced pride in many ways.
Do you agree? Do you believe that they will not give us?
No, Nigerians will
not accept. They will not accept deportee last.
They can use some leverage. They can use leverage of it or something.
See, you know what they will say? The Northerners will definitely say, don't bring them there. The Southern will say, okay, if the North is rejecting it, why should we accept it? They too
because
say
that's
no.
what that drama was about. That's at the core. They don't want us to actually. That's the main thing. And again, our relationship with Greeks is also at the middle of all this conversation. Are we going to go all in? Because according to
why don't they send them to Ghana? I thought America has good relationship with Ghana. They didn't send them to Ghana now. Why are they?
Maybe badge by badge. This thing is going to last. This thing is going to continue for the next 10 years. No, this is just the beginning. Trump is just another president is going to continue. This is just the beginning. So you are looking at the next 10 years. The world is going to be chaos. This is just getting started.
Absolutely.
Let me welcome Oga Ike to the conversation. Oga Ike, thank you for joining us. These I don't know whether you know of these African leaders, 5 of them, Burkina Faso, no, not Burkina Faso, sorry, Guinea-Bissau, Senegal, Mauritania, Gabon, and Liberian presidents went to Washington to go and see President Trump. And all of them, apart from Gabon leader, were twerking and telling them, come and take our resources. We have so many. Yeah? Whatever you want from us, come and take anything you like. And then, what do you see about all this? First, are we condemned to have bad relationship with the West in terms of that doesn't benefit us in any way? And secondly, how do we kind of impress upon our leaders to actually represent us with a level of dignity? If let's say our day of sunshine is over and we are going to fade into the winter, but can we not do that with a bit of dignity? This indignity that our leaders are suffering wherever they go, can we stop them from behaving like this and disgracing us constantly? Welcome, Oga Ike.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Happy to see everybody today. I think first of all, before I speak, forefathers and Dr. Damages, I think what is my brother over here wearing, and all of you are seeing it, is in the public space. He are showing his legs and everything, the laps. I mean, we are in the public space, right? Our mode of dressing should be, we should try to, at least if he's showing from here, if he's showing himself from here, that's okay. But you're showing everything. What is left is what is covering the
Okay, take your leg down a bit.
I mean, we should be conscious of this because other people are watching all of us.
Yes, other men's wives are watching. You have to be careful. Showing all that sexy leg in public like that is not. I
can also decide to remove my shirt, right? Even though we can't drink water, we can't drink something on the space. Then somebody is almost half naked, and for almost 1 hour we have been talking, and you are the moderator. You're supposed to see that. Right?
Yeah, I didn't see it. I just didn't notice. It's all right. So I make sure he's not going to come with that anymore. Sorry about that.
I think what your question you're asking me, I think the question should be, those presidents that were in the White House, right? How many of them, maybe probably Senegal, was legitimately voted by his people? The one of Senegal, I know of that. The election of Senegal was free and fair. So who are among all those ones that are there that has the legitimacy to speak or to say anything? I don't think there is any of them who has anything to say. But also, the reason why me and you know is that because already we have sold ourselves to the people of the West. Because all the money we stole, we can't give it to them. They know the source of the money we have. They are keeping the money we are stealing. And they're using it to better their own people and their own country and their own environment. So they know you can't have any say, because if you want to say anything, that if you want to do something else, they will tell you, I have my file. This is my file before you. They put your file on your table. So they have your secret. So what can you do? You can only become a dog to them. Whatever they ask you to go and leak, you go and leak whatever they ask you to do. Right? So because of the fact that no African head of state has respect, I think the president of South Africa and the new president of Ghana, because the election in Ghana was free and fair election. And you can see what the man is doing, because he was a free and fair election, legitimate president. You can see that things are turning around by himself. He's not using any magic. It's just because the man, the window, the mirror of the nation is a legitimate mirror. So everybody is looking through the mirror. And everybody is sitting up without even the president saying anything. So this is one of the critical things that is our problem in Africa. When the president is not legitimate anywhere, what can you say? The South African president is legitimate president. He has his mouth. He has his own respect. It doesn't matter whatever Trump want to bully. Still, he knows his onions. He has his head high, right? So I personally think that when we are trying to discuss the geopolitics about Africa, we know our problem here. The people that we go to meet, they are the people that are holding our resources, that are taking away the national resources of every citizen of this country. Is being run by one person or two people. And they go to those countries, hand them over those things. Now they come to you, bring you IMF, and they will tell you how you run your country economically.
Yeah, but Aiko, there's something I'm observing lately that I'm maybe surprised about, because I was one of those people, they all say the West lump all of them together, but the countries that are dealing with America directly, and especially an American with a kind of Trump in office, seems to be doing relatively okay. Is it that we are the problem? We don't know how to negotiate properly? Because like I said, our leaders behave like boy. You look at Saudi Arabia. All these people are doing business with America. They are doing okay. So why is it our own is different? People are shaking their head. I don't know, because I have to ask this question. Saudi Arabia, they are
maybe we have to talk about the history and everything before you know that it's completely different.
Well, I'll come to you. But Saudi Arabia is a dictator. Egypt is a dictator. That one came into office, killed people, and just took office, ran as a civilian, win the presidency. He's doing fine. He's building a nuclear power plant now in Egypt. And Egypt is producing a lot of electricity. The country is developing. They are even building a new capital. Then you look at UAE, Qatar, Kuwait. All these people are living large. And look at Japan. Japan, they nuked Japan twice. Yeah, Japan right now can build nuclear weapons if they wanted to. And Japan is very advanced. They are working with South Korea. So if they were making an advert and they say, look at all our partners, how well they are doing. What is it with us Africans that is different, the way we deal with Oyibo people?
Yeah, because they know that you are a shady man. They know that everything you do is shadiness. They know that everything you do is fake. Most of the things you got to do there has to be some fake things what you need to do, right, forefather? So I just believe that you are mentioning of Saudi Arabia and the rest of them. What most those countries we think that they are dictators and whatever they are doing because of their economic power that they have. That's why they can also sit with America and talk about anything, even though because America have what they want. Example, the Saudi Arabia you're talking about. They want to buy weapons because of Iran, and America has everything they want. So why wouldn't they have a good relationship? All those countries you are talking, the Qatar and all the Qatarians and the rest of them you are talking about, they have what America, they need what America have what they want. And because of that, they get also from America also, they have also what America want. So it's just that, right? But in the case of, for example, in the case of our country, Nigeria, we are supposed to be at the highest pedal of that of that kind of negotiation. In the days of Obasanjo, I was hearing when you say when you were in Britain, Obasanjo was behaving like Bob. But I don't agree with you because Obasanjo was a very tough, powerful president. Obasanjo has respect around the world. And when he's speaking, everybody listening, whether it's the United Nations, wherever he goes. He's a very strong man, right? Compared with what we have right now. So I think that Africa should be able to know that the resources that we have, that America and Europeans don't have, supposed to be our instrument of negotiation. You need what we have. For example, our country, Nigeria, outside oil, we have so many God-given natural resources that we can put on the table and talk to any country in the world that if you want us to do this, this is the way we can do it. But why are we not doing it? Because the people that are at the helm of affairs are busy, stealing those things to their own personal use and giving it to those countries free so that they can protect them politically. Because they know that if they commit any offense tomorrow, if they want to run, they give them diplomatic passport. They come to America and they stay and become asylum. They give them asylum because he has a house. The money in the new all those big banks you have in the US runs into millions. So if he stays in America more than 20 years, he's not going to finish the money to keep him security, to maintain him, his family, everything he has. American government will still have so much money to use out of that money to continue to keep the city where he lives, continue to maintain the city with the money that they are stealing. So, like you said, how many times has IMF gone to Britain to come and tell the Prime Minister how he's going to run the economy? They can't.
They have tried it many times. Like they would tell Gordon Brown that his policies are going to lead to so and so that he should change it. Gordon Brown would defy them and his economy will still be growing. Gordon Brown defied them consecutively for almost 10 years in a row. Defied them. They didn't listen to them at all. And his economy was growing just fine. You see what I mean? So we, our leaders, whenever IMF tells us stuff, we just look it like the Bible. We listen to it. I don't know why.
Why wouldn't you listen? Because the IMF, because you do not have power over what you have. If we are saying the same thing at the end of the day, do you have power over everything you have? You don't have control all of them. Because everything that Nigeria, God has given us now, is the same thing that China is importing back to Nigeria. Every God-given gift that God has given that country is now China is importing cassava, importing what we have in Nigeria. So is it not enough for you to ask yourself a question? What is actually wrong with this continent?
It's sad. It's sad to say something is seriously wrong with us. Because if you look at what is happening out there, the way we are behaving is crazy. Our people really need to ask themselves some serious questions and watch their leaders when their leaders are going out and representing them badly from the ones that are leaving your local government. Because many of our people, they are senators. They don't have problem with their senators. They don't have a problem with your House of Congress or House of Assembly members. But those same people are the ones, those same officials are the ones that go to Abuja and sell them out.
Sorry, before I allow Jagu to say, let me end like this. Your president went to St. Lucia, give them scholarship, right? In St. Lucia. Yeah. But for 6 months, school in Abuja is closed. Salaries are not paid to the teachers. They were striking in Abuja. And there are so many schools in Nigeria that are closed. But he went to St. Lucia and begin to give them scholarship. So this is one of those things that when you are looking for respect, when you are looking for dignity from somebody, from Jago, you are looking for respect from Mr. Jago or Jide, you get to first of all respect yourself. You have to put yourself in a position to earn that respect because you cannot buy it. If you decide to say the respect, he can buy that respect and throw it inside the ocean. But when you put yourself in a position of authority that comes with respect and integrity. Anybody coming to you for anything will have to think twice, because hey, if I go to Jagu without having a concrete program or plan, and listen, I'm going to be flawed by Jagu. So the best thing I have to do, I have to have a contact of people who know how I'm going to walk in to deal with Mr. Jagu. But that's not the case. You don't have respect. You have no credibility. You are not standing anywhere in the world. Your name is not mentioned anywhere in any good record anywhere. So, I mean, is it Trump is going to sit with your president to talk about what? What is he going to talk about? He's not going to talk about anything. But you're talking about Gabon. You're talking about all these small countries that Nigeria can be feeding them and paying their civil servants. But there are the people who went to the White House, even if it is 5 minutes forefathers, even if it is 5 minutes forefathers, where is your country? Where do you belong? I raise my case.
Let me bring in Dexter. I think he's next on the line. Dexter, man, this is getting depressing because some people say Obasanjo did well, but I can just say from what I see, and especially in moving images, when you see him walking around other African leaders, this Western leader, I will see him, he will put his hand together like this, and then they will take a picture. I just feel like, oh my God, you know, this is the president, and he looks like. That's why when I come here, I look at them like in Nigeria, they are like gods, but overseas they are like boy. They are. Nobody takes them really seriously. You see how Trump is just shuffling them. Those same leaders, they go back to their country and act like gods. This is the shame of it all. Instead of them to actually behave humble at home and act like gods overseas instead. That is the opposite, and it's up to us as the people to question them and say, you know what? If you cannot represent us with dignity, then don't bother going. You just stop disgracing us as a people. Because this is affect our people. This is why when we go to embassies, nobody takes us seriously. Our people can't even travel. Do you know what that does to a people? Like other people in the world can wake up in the morning, pick their passport and travel. Like they can literally do that. Our people can't do that. And you are in the same world with everybody else. In other words, those people can see economic opportunity somewhere, take a passport and go there. But our people don't have that opportunity. In other words, we have like a chain on our leg, disadvantaging our own people because of this behavior that we portray. You know, sorry, before I come to you, Dexter, let me just highlight one other information I just gathered together recently before the show go too far. It turns out that the Nigerian government could easily subsidize the ticket that we pay to travel to Nigeria. You know, traveling to Nigeria is far more expensive than, let's say, somebody from the UK traveling to Morocco or somebody from America traveling to some European country. If you want to travel to Nigeria, it's far more expensive. If you want to travel to any African country, it's more expensive. Black African country, more like. Do you know our leaders can subsidize that ticket price and they'll get more money out of it by subsidizing it? But because from the calculation of the International Tourism Board, the calculation they do is that if ticket is reduced, you get let's say ticket is reduced by I think 20%. This is the people that are going to be coming to your country will increase multiple fold than that. Let's say you increase ticket, you reduce ticket by 50%, you're going to get over 100% increase in inflow into your country. That's the people that are coming to your country, and those people are going to come and spend more money in your country. Can you all imagine how many times you travel to Nigeria if you know the ticket price is half? How much are you going to spend in Nigeria? But yet our Nigerian leaders will never do it. Do you know the return you get from it? If you talk about the economic impact and everything, from the calculation, anybody, you go and do the calculation yourself, you are going to get 6 times more than you put in. But our leaders will never do that. If you go to a bank today in the UK, and Jago knows, if you go to a bank and present a business proposal to them and tell them your business is going to make 50% profit, and they can verify it, they will give you that money. This one will make the country 6 times more money, but our leaders never do it. Why? We don't know. And this is why it's good to look into all this data yourself, so you know how much you are being betrayed by your leadership. Simple thing that they should be doing, they are not even doing it. Do you know how many times I'll be traveling to Nigeria if I feel like I'll just pay $300, £300, I'll go to Nigeria? People from UK, they can pay this thing. What was it? $120 pounds. They are in Morocco, and that is when they just
Morocco. You're talking
yeah.
Morocco is near. They can go to the Caribbean for that money, and look how far that is.
Exactly. It's just ridiculous how, and because the Caribbean understands that when they cut the price, those people are going to come and spend money in their country. But our leaders, for some reason, they don't want their people to return. They don't want Nigerians to return home.
You should know the reason now. You should know the reason. There was a time this was a big debate in Nigeria, and we all proud into finding out why. We found out that every airline said that it is because of the charges. They have more than 8 different kinds of charges they charge them. And so that has to be built back into the tickets, the flight tickets. Okay? Every agency in Nigeria is in the airport. Okay? And they all have one takeaway or the other that they get from. So how do you now run a country like that?
Yeah.
How do you run a country? In fact, the last time civil defense or what was it? Yeah, was in the airport, and Rudolph was telling them that please tell your guys to move it to the front because before I get to this point, all the money is gone. Okay.
See, let me show you this. This is a bit of a scandal because it turns out that while I was doing this calculation, this wasn't what prompted me. I've forgotten what prompted me to look into this. Because I just, to be fair, maybe it was a selfish reason because I saw the ticket. I heard about somebody going to Morocco. I said, let me check how much they used to go to Morocco because I'm thinking of going to Nigeria myself. But I'm thinking, oh, because it's heading towards summer in the UK, it has to be over 1,000. You have to be looking at 1,500 to 2,000. But Morocco is just in Africa. But the person spent £120 to go to Morocco, and that is during summer period to Morocco. But while Nigeria is over 1,000. The price you're going to get to come to Nigeria. Then this is when, if you look at this thing here, look at this. It says Nigerians pay $180 taxes per international flight. So we keep paying taxes, and cost of travel is not subsidized in Nigeria at all. It's like, what is wrong with African leaders? It's like, this is not only in Nigeria, it's happening in many African countries. I think almost all of them. Otherwise, you see Nigerians traveling to one other African country as a kind of decoy, as a way of coming to Africa. If any African leader was doing it. And can you imagine if Nigeria does it, many African countries will use Nigeria as a port of call to come to Africa, because now they will see that, okay, since they can get to Nigeria cheaply, they can use Nigeria as a way to get into other African countries, and many of them can come into Nigeria. You can even make it so that they all, when they come, they spend a night or two in Nigeria to go and check things out. They'll come and spend money in Nigeria. But our leaders never do these things.
I want to ask a question. We are talking about cheap flight tickets from the...
Forefather, I beg your pardon, Dexter. Forefather, I beg, give us even screen now. Make us all be on stage here.
Let's see. Let's see. Okay, this is getting to the second hour now. Let's see what I'm going to do.
Forefathers, my question is, first of all, the first question I should ask, this flight ticket you want, like this reduced charges, what do you want it for? Do you want it for Nigerians to travel back?
Yes.
So you want it for Nigerians to travel back?
Nigerians are one, and tourists are another one.
You can't say you can't divulge both of them. If you are talking about income, Morocco is a tourist destination. Egypt is a tourist destination because when tourists come, they spend money on hotels. They spend money buying all kinds of things in your country. That is income. That is FDI. Okay, that's what FDI is. Now, Nigeria, if you are saying it's because you want your people to travel back, they're not necessarily going to spend so much. It's the foreigners that will spend more money when they come into your country. The second part is this. There is what you call wealth without enterprise. Unfortunately, Nigeria since 1970 have had people ruling the country who don't know anything about wealth creation. They all became wealthy without enterprise. All the leaders from 1970 down are people who wealth without enterprise. There is no hard work. There's no hard work in how they became wealthy. So they don't even know So that's why even this present government is thinking of taxing its way to wealth. And that's what happens in the Nigerian airports, in Nigeria. If to clear your goods in Nigeria is one of the most expensive in the world. Your ports, to clear your goods from the ports in Nigeria, it's one of the most expensive. When Ekonjo-Iweala got in there, when she was the Minister of Coordinated Economy, Nigeria was one of the most expensive, one of the most difficult. This week on Arise TV, we're talking about how Nigerian visa is one of the most difficult in the world, one of the most opaque and the most difficult to get. Imagine somebody fills an e-visa in Zimbabwe, arrives Nigeria, you fill the e-visa, you did everything on the e-visa. When you arrive Nigeria, the immigration officer will deport you. The immigration officer will deport you. Meanwhile, you filled everything on the e-visa and submitted it. It went, cleared. You arrive Nigeria, you bought your ticket, you arrive, they will deport you back. They will say, if you don't know somebody in immigration, forget it. So we have a country that the people that have been running the country, so that's what happens when people are making money without hard work. So they don't have any idea of that. And all they'll keep digging that hole. That's what Nigeria happens in Nigerian airports. All they know is even the flight tickets in Nigeria, within Nigeria, are very expensive because of charges. Because the government doesn't know how to make money. It doesn't know how to make wealth. Countries and their governments know how to make wealth. That's why places like Morocco, they know that, look, let's get more people in here. Let us sell our culture. Let us sell. They will get people to sell things, and that way, the money will go into the economy. The money will go down to the weeds. But what happens in Nigeria is that they want to collect all the money. They stop all the money in one place, pay all this money. So before somebody that wants to come on a tourist visit to Nigeria, a European that wants to come on a tourist, by the time he sees all the charges, he will not come. Because why will I come and spend what I know a guy that is going to Egypt for summer holiday. He's going with 4 people. For one person, it's costing them like 130 quid to go and come back. And he's going with 4 people to go to Egypt for summer holiday because it's cheap. You go, his hotel, everything, everything is sorted, and they will spend money there. And that is going to go to the Egyptian economy. People that are waiters everywhere, the money will touch them. But in Nigeria, it's not that way because we have leaders.
Sorry, mute your mic, please. Let me just add something. Let me ask, because when you say something about tourist destination, I don't think necessarily Nigeria cannot be a tourist destination, because in terms of culture, my goodness, Nigeria would dwarf many countries in terms of culture. I can even, as you can see, I do play some of the cultures in Nigeria. Nigeria is astoundingly rich in terms of culture for people to come and see. The problem still remains. And even the diaspora alone, even just the diaspora returning will make a serious impact, because if somebody can be coming, a lot of them don't come with their family members as they would like to, because the cost is too much. If you have a place you can go to $200, $300 versus spending $1,000 showing up there for each person, then you don't have a chance at all. And there are so many ways the government can incentivize foreign direct investment, because most of those people that come to Nigeria, they will drag their friends along from the West. You never know who comes in. Out of 50, every one of them could decide that they want to invest in Nigeria. And if you think about the jobs that will be created because of the presence of these people, if you do the calculation, it's ridiculous that we've not even done that. What is the aviation minister doing with his money that they are giving him every year? And the amount you need to spend is not that much. When they calculated it, they're talking about $200 million or something. That's not a lot of money that will give you over $1 billion back. But they won't even do that. Nigerian government borrowed over $20 billion last year, at least in the budget that they are putting forward. So how is it that this one is so hard for them to do, to encourage Nigerians to come back? If it was some people, they would do everything to make Nigerians come back home. Every time they have a chance, the whole airport will be full of people coming back from overseas to come and celebrate Christmas, Easter, and everything. If it's not prohibitively so expensive to come to Nigeria. And many African countries, by the way, it's almost as if it's uniform. Most of these things that happen to us tend to happen in a uniform manner. Not even one African country is cheap to come to. Not when I say African country, the black ones. Not one of them is cheap to come to. But if you go to North Africa, it's cheap. Why? this is a problem. There is something seriously wrong somewhere. Something
It's
seriously wrong, and it's not proper.
Forefathers, what is wrong is what is wrong with us is the way we think.
Us.
You've forefathers, you've asked the question. You've literally answered the question you asked. Okay? We are the problem. And like I told you, forefathers, you are in the UK. Let me ask you a question. If somebody calls you now and say, forefathers, give me £300, will you give the person?
Depends now. It depends the kind of person. It's a woman, it's a man, and who.
So somebody from Nigeria, your guy just call you, say, man, guy, I beg, just give me £300, man. Area no clear, I beg, give me £300. Will you just give him like that? After you know how much you have to work to get that money. Eh?
It depends. I could. Why not?
Okay, you could without.
Yes, now.
You just give him without thinking.
Yeah, if it's your friend and the person needs help for something, yeah, why not?
Forefathers, it's not your regular friend. Somebody that you and him don't even used to talk regularly. He just call you up, man, guy, how far you dey UK? Give me £300. You give him.
Okay, from that one, if I have the money and I know I'm not going to miss it, I will give it away.
Oh, if you are not going to miss it, so are you telling me
Yes.
that as you are there, you have money that you don't really have use of?
Sometimes you could now. You see, everybody's off ahead all the time. You could.
No, it's not,
but the point is that if you're not going to miss the money, I don't have any issue releasing it.
The point is this, forefathers. When you go to the Western world, every money you make, every penny you make, you work for it. You work hard for it. Okay?
Yes.
So when you work hard for something, before you release it, you must realize that thing you put in value to get it. You're not going to release it for something that doesn't have value. You will make sure that person you want to give that thing to, that it is of something of value. You don't want to give somebody something that the next thing you will see him, you give the person, you will see the person for club, they spray money.
Oh no, you're not going to do that now. The person has to need it.
Example on what you have in Nigeria today is wealth without enterprise. You have people that make money not because of hard work. You have people that make money because of underhand, because of all kinds of gibberish. The truth about it that the Nigerian population that can actually, in fact, a cousin of mine that works in oil and gas, he told me, look, if you're not even up to 2 million, if you have a family right now in Nigeria, not even up to 2 million naira, forget it. You're struggling. You're struggling. Yes, you're struggling. You're actually struggling if you don't have your own house, you pay house rent, you take care of kids, you have to live, you are struggling. Now, where can you get that kind of money if you're not working in the oil sector? Where can you get that kind of money? But then you have people that in the civil service that their children are schooling abroad. How does it work? How do these people get that money? So you have wealth without enterprise. When you have wealth without enterprise, it doesn't encourage hard work. It doesn't encourage the system that work. That is why you are looking for the easiest way, the cheapest way to make money. I was telling somebody recently, I grew up in Port Harcourt. There's a guy that is my family my family friend. But this guy, every morning he wakes up in the morning. Every morning, do you know how he gets money to go to school? He goes to the market because his family owns the market square. He goes to the market and starts taxing all these women on the road. That's his job. Hey, wait, you don't reach out. Collect. Sometimes in money like that, he has collected 7,000 naira. Just for collect. That tax he has collected, before anything, that person will come by 12 again and collect from those women. That kind of guy, what do you expect?
Is he Agbero?
Why you don't call him Agbero? He's a guy that was going to university, that went to secondary school. He started that thing from secondary school, went to university. He's a graduate of law. That is the same. That is how Wike. I was in the same Port Harcourt to Wike. That's how Wike is. Yeah, collect. Everybody said to Roger. If you don't give, they will scatter you'll be there. They will scatter the women's market. And that guy, as he has grown like that, do you think that guy knows what it is to work hard to get money? When that kind of guy becomes a leader, do you think he has idea of, okay, let me do for us to get money, this is what we need to do. We have to create an economy where people can strive, where our people can thrive, where our people can thrive first, when our people are comfortable. Forefathers, Nigeria has tourist attraction. It's not to have the tourist attraction. It's not to have the tourist site. It's not to have the tourist site. It's to have what will make people come inside. Maldives is not a big place, but people are going there. Do you understand? It's not to say I have all the tourist sites. Ordinary Tinapa that was supposed to become like
Yeah, but hold on. But it appears you are thinking about it like it has to be like Zanzibar. No, the United States is a tourist attraction. UK is a tourist attraction because people like to visit some of all these countries. And Nigeria is a very, very important country, by the way. In so many ways, we've not even started exploring it. And all I'm saying is, just for not even for tourism, just for Nigerians to return home, if those leaders are selfish, they can just say, okay, let me build hotels around the airport areas and all the rest. And we know that when we reduce this thing, they are going to flood in and they're going to need the hotels. They're going to need Airbnbs. Just make business happen. And I thought Tinubu wants to stimulate business. How come that low-hanging fruit, he can't even do that one?
For fathers, they are still going back to this. Like, you are saying that people with that wealth, these people are just sharks.
But Tinubu is not just, to be fair, Tinubu, was he not into something? He didn't just make money he didn't.
Wait, Tinubu went into what? Into what?
I think he was with Alpha Beta where they tried to use it. He collected money in Nigeria now.
Alpha Beta.
See, Tinubu worked. I think they said he worked in the private sector too. So it's not like he
work where?
In one of these oil company, if I'm not mistaken.
In Mobile. He worked He worked in the lawyers that denied him.
Did they deny him?
Yes, he works in the lawyers. The story that Tinubu worked in the lawyers, that he did a deal, they now had equity, he got big money, he went to Mobile, whatever, what kind of cheapish deal.
Okay, so that's not true.
And if you can't, well, it's not a matter of it's not true. If you calculate the money, they did an analysis, the money that Tinubu said he had, the money that he said he had when he started working, the money he paid as fine in America, they said if you calculated it, he could never have earned that kind of money. When you calculate it, the money he paid as fine, 400 and something thousand.
No, we know that part now. Let's say he was doing something shady.
No. When he was,
the point I'm making is that it's not without enterprise, and many of our leaders
enterprise. Forefathers is without enterprise. When you can look, example, if you ask Dangote how do you make your money, he can show you clear trail, nothing. There's no hidden shady deal. There are some Nigerians. If you ask them, show us how you made your money, they will show you clear trail, nothing hidden, nothing shady. I was selling this. From selling this, I went to sell this. From this, I went to sell this. You can't say it about Tinubu. When they asked him how he got, when he went to Chatham House and had an interview with BBC, how did you get your money? He said he inherited property. That's what he said.
Is that the same with? Are you going to say that's the same with Obasanjo too?
Obasanjo is wealth without. Buhari doesn't have money now. Federal government has been paying for Buhari ever since. Buhari has been
you are saying all these things. You are trying to say our people, none of them have any enterprise at all.
Forefathers, 90%. Look, Buhari has been living on federal government stipends all his life. Those guys have not done anything. Nothing. The few people you will even say that have even done something, like Atiku Abubakar. Yes, you might say he was involved in racket, maybe all those border crossings. But after that, he did intel. You could see what he did. You see his business.
Okay. Dexter. Okay, let's say that they don't have enterprise. But are you going to tell me about 45 black African countries don't have enterprise? None of them.
Forefathers, let me tell you the truth. Do you know that in African countries, Nigeria is trying? I'll tell you why. Especially the black African countries. Most of the other African countries, it's not even the nationals that even have the wealth. You see, the point is, forefathers, this is what I want to say. What I want to say, especially for us here, one thing is, look, like that's why I always prioritize. You see, you have to, any country that is not STEM focused, you know what STEM is? Okay, STEM. You have to, the way you teach, if you want a country to grow, you can forecast where a country will be. That's what the developed nations do. They can forecast where their country will be 20 years from where they are now. All you need to do is look at what are you putting into the children between the ages of 10 and 17. Whatever you are putting into those
people. So Dexter, you are literally saying for something black African countries don't have any president.
Forefathers, wait. Look, Sam Adeyemi, I have been listening to some of his little snippets, and it made sense. See, what you put inside there are two ways to get things into your body, okay? Into your mind. There are two ways to get things into your mind. Everything you're saying now came to you through two ways: your eyes and your ears. Either you were looking at something, watching something, or reading something, or you were listening to something. The more you listen to that thing, it enters into you. It goes down. When it goes down, it forms a base for you, which you will use later in future. That is what they call experience. When you meet a situation, you will say, oh, I knew it from this place, I learned it here. You will use it and use it to solve problems. What you put inside, the same way what you look at is the things you have seen that give you an idea of what you want to do.
Yeah.
Now, wait, now, forefathers, listen.
Let
Let me land. When you don't prioritize the education of those people between the ages of 10 and 17, and all they are getting in is gibberish, all they are getting in is watered down education. They are not even seeing the picture of what it can be. What happens is that in the future, in their future, they will bring out the same thing. People like Bill Gates. Bill Gates was, do you know that Bill Gates was hacking? He was like a computer hacker to get computer time back then. He was among 4 kids that were hacking the computer to get more computer time. They were seeing the computer to use. They had to see it, and then they could visualize the future. Back then, in Nigeria today, you don't even have kids that can have. You don't even have schools that even have anything. And
Thank you for that.
And what we prioritize, we are prioritizing the wrong things.
Thank you. Let me bring Dexter. Let me bring some other person on. I think before they start NSAS protests here. This is I don't know whether it's a show next. Sure. Welcome. This matter. I was talking about the presidents that went to Washington, how they embarrassed us, and there was for selfish reasons. This is where this stuff came from. I was like, I was thinking of going to Nigeria. You know how it's getting to summer in the UK, the ticket prices, everything has gone up. Like, why is it that our country is so hard to go to? Because I just realized that some other person just went to Morocco recently, and I checked the ticket price, and it's more than 5 times less than that of Nigeria. It's like, why is it so expensive when Morocco is more than half the way to Nigeria? And it just occurred to me, I said, okay, let me see why we have not done this. What if we have the ticket prices? How much is it going to cost Nigeria? I was shocked how much it was going to cost. I thought it was going to cost billions of dollars. It wasn't even up to $500 million. It was going to cost. And then I went on to analyze and said, how much are we going to get from having the ticket? I was astounded when I looked at that. I said, any bank manager in any business, you bring a business plan that gives you this, they will give you the loan. They will fund it. But why is it that our leaders haven't done something so simple? Sure, please go ahead.
Before you do, I beg your pardon there. The live and time is blocking your screen. All these things are, maybe there's not enough space, but you should remove them. They're disturbing. Sorry.
Jago, don't start now. I just moved the screen format the last time. Now you're complaining about this other one again. Are you talking about have your say?
Well, have your say is one thing, but the time it's right on your screen, covering your face.
Okay, I will have to look into that. All right. Thank you for that, Jago. Sure, please, what do you make of this? You can talk about the presidents too if you want to.
Thank you. I'll try and make it as brief as possible. I know people say that once you hear that, it means they're going for half an hour. But I can see Masca's already twitching, thinking, oh my God, when are these people going to stop? And Masca won't interrupt, which is the unfair thing, because he will just wait until everybody's tired. You see, forefathers, I'm going to sound like a broken record to you. The solution to this thing is not far-fetched. You know it, but you don't want to admit it. For reasons best known to you. You need willing leaders in Africa. The people who are going to stand up tall and fight for their people, speak up on behalf of their people. As long as you don't have that, for the next 100 years, we'll be discussing the same thing. You saw the Liberian president addressing, see, there are little things that I pick up, and a lot of people, it's not because I'm smart or anything, a lot of people will pick up on those things. The Liberian president was addressing Trump, I saw when he said, where did you learn to speak that good English? And Trump, Trump was like, where did you go to school? And the guy wasn't even, he was just like, yes, sir. Trump said, no, where did you go to school? almost even making Trump look like an idiot. You know, the same person that you just said speaks good English did not even understand what you were saying. I don't think our guy here in the UK will go there and be saying yes sir to Trump, despite the age difference. He wouldn't. People might say it doesn't matter. Call him Mr. President. Address him as such. You are the president of a sovereign nation. But was there saying yes sir to Trump? He's not a young man. He's older than Trump, I believe, or about the same age. There's a picture. I've added them to the backstage. I know you're hosting. You might want to look at those pictures. Everybody have seen them before. But those little things, you can see, Nigeria was never good in those days. But for me, when I look at those pictures, there's a picture of Shehu Shagari with 3 white men holding 2 umbrellas to protect it. I've added it to the backstage. You can project it if you want to. And one of Obasanjo standing, or if you want me to, I can, because I have it right in front of me. I just need your permission. I don't want to take over and start.
Please do that, because I can't see it too.
Okay. I don't know. I don't put it where you and Rudolph do. So this picture.
I
is
see.
a famous picture of Shehu Shagari. You can say, what does this mean? No, tokenism. But for me, this projects power. It projects respect. You won't get this today. I'm not saying they will let Tinubu walk in the rain or whoever the president is. He will be one of your people that followed him from Nigeria that will do this for him. They won't do this. Here's another picture of Jimmy Carter and Obasanjo. You see men. I'm not saying they were perfect or whatever. Of course, part of what they did led us to where we are. But you see them, they project power. They might have been in bed with them, but these ones at least had a bit of spine to them. This current crop, they don't see. We talk about you're big on security. When we bought this new jet that President Tinubu bought, they took it to France to refurbish and to kit it up. You were saying, isn't that security risk? And I was telling you then, these current guys don't care. They don't have to bug the plane. These guys will lay on their backs and they'll be tickled. So I don't know where you want this respect to come from. Let me ask you, if you were the American president, would you respect African presidents?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
So why are you expecting them to do it?
No, I'm just saying that they should change. Okay, let me give you an example. Like when American president is saying that we should take on this in Venezuelan deportees, the Nigerian government were able to push back on that and say, no, we can't take that. You see what I mean? So there are things that you can see that they still have their own voice.
Because there's not much in it for them. If they offer them the right money, the right deal, they will take it. It's about negotiation. If they offer them the right deal, they will take it. I mean, it doesn't take much to get everything from our current leaders. They don't speak for us. They are not there for us. We know whose side they are on. So all these things that you say that, they should do this, they cannot. They are not interested in doing it. I mean, is it the FBI or the CIA, whichever, I don't know now, I can't remember. When some people went to the US and they said, Freedom of Information Act, we want to see this man's, court files, or unredacted copies of Tinubu's file. You know what the CIA said, or FBI, whoever, whichever one. They said they were specific. They said the earliest we can release this document is 2026. This was before the election. No, they didn't say the earliest we will. The earliest we can release it is 2026. This is documented. Why 2026? Because 2026 is the year before the next election. So if you do our bidding, we'll keep it. If you don't, that's the earliest we will release it. So, so you see all these things and you wonder why they have us by the cojones. The current guys they're not going to do anything different. It's going to be the same year in. I mean, you keep talking about security, talking about, having these things to fight everybody and blow everybody up. But you saw what Nigeria, sorry, let me take this off. Sorry, I beg your pardon. You saw what Nigeria's vice president said this week that just ended. Shetima, he hosted some, I think, American people. Shetima was opening the door. The video is still there. He was the vice president. Don't tell me it's courtesy. It's not. How is it our vice president's job to be opening doors for the American vice president? Won't open the door for Tinubu. The police officer that was there was confused for a second. It won't. They will not. They understand these things. It's power play. What you
Trump did pull out a chair for Netanyahu the other day.
So what number one pulled out chair for number one of Israel? Who? Tell me the name of the guy that Shetima opened the door for. I don't know him. I still don't know his name. Who is he? The guy was confused. He stopped for half a second to think, what is this actually happening? And Shetima was telling them in that meeting, and they publicized it. They tweeted it from the presidency Twitter account that Nigeria has no business with this thing you are clamoring for. I think they were talking to you. We are not interested in nuclear power testing. We want food. From the office, no, from the voice of our own vice president. These are the things that concern us. Let's just eat. Leave us. We want just give us food.
Maybe they play and style now. You
No,
don't know.
Ah,
maybe they have a secret program somewhere. He just played mumu, so that they will think he doesn't know what he's doing.
He's not mumu at all. These guys don't care. This is the best that they would offer us. So forefathers, for me, not to ramble on, for me is how can we get to where we want to get in the shortest amount of time? Is it by getting the right leaders in place, or is it by trying to force these current ones to do what we think they should do? I won't answer that question. I will let everybody answer it the way they feel is best or is quickest. Get the right people in place, whoever that is, or keep forcing these people to do what they don't want to do. Well, I mean,
okay, but let me. I didn't do this. Yeah.
Why?
Play it again, please. This is not good.
Watch the Oyinbo
Let's
man.
watch it again. Let's play it again.
Watch the Oyinbo man. He looked at the security officer. Even the security officer was like, "Is this not meant to be my job?" Watch again. Forget Shetima. Look at the Oyinbo man and the security officer.
He's been humble. Why are we all so quick to
you.
judge?
I mean,
he's been humble.
It's not humble. It's not humble. We still have
There are a lot of people that have made that argument. So if Trump opened the door for Netanyahu, one can say it's humility. If Netanyahu, did the same for Trump, who is this man that? Who is he? How? What level does he have? I'm not saying it's a nobody, but it's not the vice president. It's not anything. So for our vice president, I just feel like some of these things, they're important. How we carry ourselves. Nigeria is a big deal. Like we keep saying, it's a big deal. And if we're a big deal, we need to start behaving and moving like big deal. All these things that, we just go koto, hat in hand, you bow down to everybody. No, we're meant to be big boys and let's act accordingly. But as long as we have people who will do the bidding of the foreigners or the, colonizers, nothing is going to change. We would rant and rant. They don't care about you.
Sure,
Man,
sorry.
I really
ask forefather who is going to hold the key of the nuclear weapon? Who is going to keep the key? Or forefathers or your president that you have now will keep the key. Ask him, let him answer.
Whoever is worthy of holding it.
But
this could be a trick, because you know how everybody sees us as useless. If somebody wants to actually go and develop certain things now, they could play mumu and say, "We will never do it. We will never do it ever, never." But why they have this thing 300 meters on the ground?
I'll let Master react to
I'm
that.
just saying. Any serious leader can do it. In the case of Africa right now, we should be able to do whatever we want to do, really. And we don't need permission from anybody. But this issue of, let's say, aviation ticket now, maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't care.
Sorry, one last thing before I go, because as soon as she started talking, I checked it. Flight to New York from London is about 8 hours, roughly, just under 8 hours. Today,
6 hours.
About over 7 hours. If you want to book the ticket today, it's about £300.
Imagine that.
Nigeria is 6 hours. And it's over 1,000. I went to Nigeria about 6 weeks ago. I went with my wife and my son. My daughter said she wasn't going, thank God. Each one of us paid £1,000 because my son is 4. So once you're over 2, you pay the full ticket price, despite him being tiny. So £3,000 on flight alone.
Yeah.
How often do you think I'll take them?
No way. That's exactly what I'm saying.
When we came
and most
back,
of that money is going to the airlines.
When we came back, my wife said I need a holiday, so she took herself by herself and she went to Cyprus. for 4 days.
Imagine. And you know, when a government decides to subsidize airlines, because you are paying in bulk, you get discount. And these people can't, it's like they don't know business. You pay discount because because they know you are giving them upfront money or assured money. It's like you are buying the ticket upfront already. And you are going to increase traffic inflow into the country, and they are going to come and spend money and invest in your country. And it's going to incentivize the people to do the right thing by the nation. But you know, maybe they didn't know. Maybe somebody needs to go and nudge them and say, Minister of Aviation, you know, you could do this so that our people, because if our Nigerians start returning home for the next election, there's going to be a sense of what they call it, this good feel. You know, people will notice the vibrance in the air when people are coming to Nigeria more often. It might make this president even more popular from it. It might notch his poll up one just by doing things like this. I don't know why they can't even do simple things like this. For the life of me, when I checked it, the amount is so small, it doesn't cost them anything, and a lot of people are going to be very happy. I sure will be very happy if the ticket is halved, you know, because it's so expensive to travel to Nigeria. Last year, it cost me almost £2,000 to travel to Nigeria around this time. Almost £2,000, I'm telling you. That's how expensive it is, and it's just about 6 hours flight to and fro. So let me bring Masca in. Let's move to Masca.
I think from my experience, if you want to book and find a cheaper flight, maybe you have to book like 4 months ahead or something.
Yeah, you have to book ahead, way ahead before you can do that.
Like, I mean,
if you book ahead like that to Morocco, my goodness, the ticket you're not going to pay even £50. You're not going to. I've seen somebody that traveled to Hungary for £5 from the UK. £5 from the UK. Forget it. The life we are living, just our leaders are not doing us proud. And it's not only Nigeria. This is what makes me a little bit scared about these events. Because it's not only Nigeria is happening. Because let's say Ghana was cheap to go to. You see people are buying tickets to go to Ghana and use from Ghana come to Nigeria. But you don't see that all African countries are uniformly expensive. Uniformly. And the bad thing about it is that you can't exactly travel from Western Sahara to Mauritania to West Africa, because those areas are dangerous.
Ghana is cheaper. Ghana is cheaper.
Where is Ghana cheaper to go to?
Ghana is cheaper to go. To people fly to Ghana and go to Nigeria from Ghana.
Sorry, is it significantly cheaper?
Yes.
Okay, let me confirm it. If you are so
cheaper to the point that I don't know.
Look, all these
I
flights.
will check it. I will check it. It's not
all the flights where it depends on the time season when you book and the season. Just that.
Okay, can we allow Masca to talk, please? I want.
Yeah, Masca, thank you for joining us, Masca. I appreciate your presence and your patience with us. So, what do you make of the events in in the US with our African leaders, 5 African leaders, and this issue of subsidizing the fares? How regrettable it is that to come to Africa is so expensive. What do you make of it?
Okay, so there are 2 separate issues that you want me to talk about.
Yeah.
Go ahead now.
Okay. I watched I think I would say I watched clips of the meeting Trump had with these 5 leaders. There's nothing, for me, there's no surprise there. Generally, the black man, in terms of ego, he has been badly bruised. Not just that he's Trump, forget Trump. Just take a black man, put him in a room in Nigeria with a white man inside Nigeria, not in the White House, because that's what you are forgetting. I'm sure even forefathers, when you go there, you'll be shocked the way you will be humbled. But let's put that aside. I believe that generally the black man has been humbled. Not humbled like that, but our ego is badly bruised and is continuously being bruised even as at today. Okay, so I'm not shocked, I'm not surprised by the reaction of these leaders or the fact that Trump does not know that Liberia, they speak English. He doesn't even know that Liberia is technically like a 52nd state of the US. Liberia was set up by people directly from America. But look, that for me is an aside. What is even more important for me is that we should be talking about the fact that they selected, if you look at the map, they took Mauritania, they took Senegal. These countries are all contiguous countries. And what people don't know is that these are very rich resource countries, places like Gabon, even the Liberia itself. So look, we sit here and talk, but look at the white people. The man is active. He's day in, day out. He's championing their own cause. They are on top of the food chain, but they are not sleeping. We are all sleeping, not just our leaders, even all of us here on this platform. If you listen to the discussion, you know that these are people that are in a slumber. Sincerely speaking, would not disrespect to any one of us, but we are not very serious people like that. So I think for the people that Trump called to school, I think that's where I would stop. But I'm impressed with Trump, sincerely speaking. It shows that the man has people around him that know what they are doing. I know that America wants to put a base in Liberia, so maybe that's why they are looking at Liberia. I know Gabon has a lot of oil. That's why they are calling Gabon. These people are articulate. They know what they are doing. They are not sleeping. Look at that Trump. Look at his age. And I'm sure after that meeting, he's going for another meeting. And it's not just about leaders. If you listen to the questions their own journalists are asking the man, I couldn't, my body was shaking when he was asking him about some belly and some betting and like, now what for these people? You are asking the president all these kind of deep-seated questions. But that's the whole society is up and running. Okay, but back to the other, what you call, and look, just for me to say, the leaders, these are not really leaders. When you say a leader, I can't see any serious-minded leader among them, all of the people there. But when you say somebody is a leader, it's not that he's in a presidential position. He has to be a leader, meaning that there's something driving him. There's a vision he has for his people. People put him there out of respect. I am confident that none of these people were there based on these parameters. So I think for me, there's really nothing new. We are Black people. The only thing I would even say, I would beg to differ with some of us. I know that an average Nigerian, he's not intimidated by the white man. I would be confident that if it were a Nigerian leader, I know somebody said it also, but we Nigerians, we have this thing about us. Even from, is it our music, is it our movies, is it our food? If I'm in the UK, I will look for Nigerian food. There's no American city that I will go and eat American food. And you will find Nigerian food. You will find pounded yam. You find what is this rice they do inside leaf, or fada rice. So I think Nigerians were not like the rest of Africa. So let's not.
But the countries appear to be. I don't think it's necessarily resources alone. They are all strategically positioned, especially because one, they are small populations, and they are all coastal nations. Every single one of them are coastal.
I mean, we're all talking the same thing. The Americans, they know what they are doing. They just don't call people anyhow. You would see that there is something. There's a pattern.
Yeah. So what do you make of this traveling? Okay, go ahead, Nikeji.
Can I just add something a bit? You see, America is doing what we Nigeria have failed to do. If we had used our position to rally around these people and make sure that we play the role that America is playing now, then we will have no little space for anybody to come in and begin to look at how to use this, any of these countries. But nobody.
And they will have to go through us. That you see, they would have had to go through us to get to those nations.
But you forefathers and KJ, I beg to disagree totally with
I'm coming. I'll say what I'm trying to say. Before now, when there was trouble in Liberia and in Sierra Leone, it was not the Americans that went there to solve it. It was the Nigerian money, the Nigerian lives that was laid on the line. When apartheid was there, Nigeria was recognized as the frontline country. That's what we were called that time. the frontline states, because of our activity in the southern Africa. Nobody realized at that time it was Nigeria. They left it for us. We fought until appetite was gone. And then we do not have, and that's where I'm coming to, we do not have a follow-up plan, just like these other people have. What is our gain when what we are looking for is achieved? How do we go from there? Do we take over the economic activity of that country? Do we ask for a fair share? Or do we ask for a lion's share? Or do we just say, you know what, we have given you peace, so do as you want? That's what we do. We don't have a continuous plan. And so now, the same Liberia, the same Sierra Leone, the same Southern Africa are now saying, we don't want you people here. You see, we must have a plan for wherever we intervene. And I think that is where we're not learning. America has a plan. America is not just fighting or trying to bring peace in certain areas. They have the reason why they are going there. And they put the cards on the line. If you agree, we come. If you don't agree, have your problem to yourself. We must have a contingency plan. That's what I'm saying. I don't.
Okay, you're right, KJ. But why I disagree with you is that if you make that statement, I would say it's a very simplistic way of looking at things. In this my life, I've contributed money as a student in ABU to South Africa. Okay? So it's not like we abandoned Africa like that, you know. And you're right. There's ECOMOG, Nigeria. Is it Congo Nigerian soldiers have, if not just soldiers, police have gone to do peacekeeping almost all over Africa. In my opinion, the issue is tied to what forefathers is talking about. This issue of tourism. If you look at Nigeria, what has happened to Nigeria is that it's a country that it was together, it was okay, but I believe the West actually disintegrated the country. I remembered a speech Murtala Mohammed gave that Africa has come of age. Maybe some of you need to go and listen to that speech. Because this thing we are saying yes, yes, yes to white people. You will see where Nigerian leaders stood up to the whole world. This thing you are saying, he was telling the whole world to go to hell. Africa will take its decision in its own interest. The same thing we've been saying now. But what happened to him? He was killed in broad daylight. And if you look at the coup itself, it's funny. Like the guys who killed him did not even have enough plan to make sure they carry out everything to the letter end of the coup. So it tells you that, look, the idea is just to kill this man. This is my personal opinion now I'm talking. It's not a fact. It's not, but I'm saying that in my opinion, we had leaders who stood for Africa, Nigerian leaders, but they killed them. But the same people that are calling us now one by one, they killed the strong ones among us. But I don't want to go into that because it's like, as Sho will say.
I hear what you are saying about that part of it in terms of,
go and listen to Patrice Lumumba's speech. These are all there. They are on record.
Yeah, we know that now. You see what Traore is doing now. See, if you look at what Traore is doing now, he's learning from what happened to Sankara. So he's trying to avoid the mistakes of the past. And
I see forefathers. I don't want us to have this discussion because I think it's a Pandora's box. I will take us away. I think you've raised a very important point on this tourism.
Yeah, go ahead.
My perspective is that if you look at Nigeria, like I was saying, it's a country that had disintegrated. Partly, yes, the West, you could put some blame at their doorstep, but we also as a people, collectively, we should all take responsibility. If you take tourism, for instance, even in this my life, I was working in a company where we are looking forward to these Easter holidays. The whole company, we will go to Yankari Game Reserve. We will all spend our weekend there. And we will have fun. In this Nigeria, people were enjoying life. There were trends in this Nigeria. But what happened? What happened? Everything one by one was disintegrating, and it is disintegrating as we speak now. If you talk about tourism, what would you say about football? What would you say about our roads? What would you say about the railway lines that have all the railway line? If you come to now, you look at there are still these rails, they are still standing there. Or you go to Idu, you will see that there was a very robust train station there. But everything are disintegrated. There's this, and look, the issues in Nigeria are just plenty.
Yeah, but well, let's focus on the point about this tourism stuff.
Hold on, forefathers. If you look at our agriculture, we were exporting groundnut. We were doing a lot across the spectrum. If you look at this country, we are a shadow of what we were. So my point, the point I'm making on this tourism issue is that the problem in Nigeria is across the board. And if you ask me why, I will go back to where I ended in terms of these 5 leaders that went to America, is that we are not able to elect even leaders, not to talk of good leaders. All the people that are there, these are what you call damaged goods. These people will only allow a leader that is a damaged good so that they can hold him, and he's not going to move left or right. And we see it all across the continent. It's not just Nigeria. If you take everywhere you go, it's just the same play pattern. And it's not only in Africa. They do. I hear you guys were talking about Saudi Arabia. Is Saudi Arabia is a good example? Is it a good example? No. If you take Egypt, for instance, these people elected a leader. America sponsored a coup. The guy who is sitting in Egypt today is a military person, sitting on the seat of a duly elected person. It costs.
I have to emphasize, Maska, in addition to what you said, just buttress your point. GDP per capita, Egypt is not among top 5. I don't know why we keep using Egypt as an example.
I've even worked in Egypt. I don't want to go into all this Western, because the truth also, we should share the blame. You know what is happening, you should solve the problem. But the bottom line is that our tourism will not be what it is, because we as a people, we don't have leaders. What we have is damaged materials that are sitting with a lot of liability. Their mind is not even in all these things you're talking. They are thinking of how they will come back in 2027, because the only way they can be safe is to be inside power. This is the issue. Look,
it looks like we've lost good
During
leaders.
Zimbabwean President Mugabe's state visit, with journalists reduced to laughter as he joked about the colonialists. Our own Vuyo Mvoko was among them.
Hold on. Let me just put this back.
The ease with which he moves, he even appears to be sleeping while standing, not giving away his mood. But journalists, of course, neither sleep nor slumber when he talks.
Anyway, forefathers.
This time, though, his host started it all.
Somebody who is being talked about these days in South Africa. We host a statue, they host him in Zimbabwe.
We in Zimbabwe did not know about roads until South Africa said they had someone called Roads in Cape Town. So we are looking after the corpse. You have the statue of him. I don't know what you think we should do. Dig him up. Perhaps his spirit might rise again.
And when he starts, there's no stopping him.
We produce tobacco. We don't smoke much of it. The Chinese smoke most of it.
And no one can accuse him of being ungrateful to those that are kind, or maybe unkind to him.
I say to you, journalists, thank you for paying so much attention, those of you who write for those papers we read, for paying so much attention to us and to President Mugabe, and for the publicity you have given me. But when we have served 2 terms, we have not done much. And 2 terms was like 2 weeks. So we want to go more. So you want another term, and you must find an excuse. The first term I served, no, it was not a real term. But you were there for 5 years. Oh no, it was Parliament which chose me. I should have been chosen by the people, so that one does not count. And the others say it counts.
So the reason why I play this video is because we're talking about leaders that we don't have. But that's one leader that succeeded in what he wanted to do. He actually did what he wanted to do. The country paid the price, but he did what he wanted to do in Africa. And somehow he got away with it. So it's not entirely impossible in the context of Africa for leaders to emerge and do the right thing by their people. And they still live to tell the story. That guy died of old age, technically. So maybe we shouldn't be looking at it like you have to have a perfect leader in office.
Fathers, you don't want to know the real story. Let's leave it at that, please.
What do you mean I don't want to know the real story? The real story is that we should give up.
What? No, you are talking. Who is it? Not this guy in Zimbabwe that you are talking about?
Yes.
Or who was it that you are putting his picture about? Like
Zimbabwe. No, he's Zimbabwean Mugabe.
Let's start from the inflation rate even as at today.
Yes. Okay, let me check. If you are saying that. Since we want to check data so that everybody is on the same page, Egypt has got GDP per capita.
Check inflation rate in Zimbabwe.
Yes. GDP per capita in Egypt is 3,000 something.
Inflation rate.
Calm down. It's not only you, Mask. I'm just trying to give what's his name, Jide, the information because he mentioned something about GDP per capita. It's 3,000 something that Nigeria has never achieved in the last 25 years. Okay, now let's go to inflation. Inflation rate in Zimbabwe. All right, so 2000 Zimbabwe projected annual inflation rate to be around 90-something% according to IMF.
That's like 100%.
Yes. So what does that mean?
Forefathers.
No, tell me what that means then in real terms, in terms of how it compares to what he did.
No, what you need to do, I won't tell you so that it will down on you. Look for any country in the world that has 90-something%.
Okay, so what is the point?
Okay, the point I'm making is that even Zimbabwe, the West did not allow Zimbabwe to rest. They destroyed the economy.
But yet the people are not starving.
No, look, these people, they know what they are doing. It's not just that they can take you out, but even what I'm simply saying is that you can't use Zimbabwe as an example. It's a bad example to say that they have a good leader.
I don't think it's a bad example. Because why I don't think it's a bad example is because one, he did what he needed to do, and they are going through the repercussions of such actions, which is normal. Chinese went through that for more than 2 decades.
Okay.
So I don't know why
you do this sometimes. I'm not gonna judge because what you are saying is not correct. What you are simply alluding is that the man, they left him in office, they didn't kill him, and he did what he did, and the thing is bad for the people. So how is it different?
Okay, now, when the Chinese did what they did, it was bad for the people at first, but it was good for them later on. So what do you make of that?
It is not. What did they do? The Chinese the Chinese had an idea. The idea was harsh. However, it is from those days that they were able to repair themselves rather quickly in terms of, you know, the national economy of the nation. They also opted out of Western hegemony, meaning that they were able to track their own path. Where Mugabe is concerned, he was a very, very intelligent individual, no doubt. However, his stubbornness, unfortunately, did not lead to a country who had the best education in Africa at the time to really develop in his time. So that time has gone unwasted.
I think I disagree.
And they are still coming out of it.
I think I have to disagree. I think the economic sanctions and the economic blockade by the West crippled Zimbabwean economy.
Of course it did. Of course it did. However,
I want to blame Mugabe.
Of course you look, my brother. Wait. As a leader who understands geopolitics, and I believe that Mugabe had a good understanding of geopolitics, probably more than most other African nations. However, he still was not able to negotiate well enough for his people. There was something within him that had such disdain for the West, which was correct. I join him in that disdain. However, whoever, you know, I always say this: Africans do not know how to negotiate. They don't have an idea of their power. They don't know what their leverage is. They have very little understanding of sustenance and sustainability. Not to speak about maintenance. They have no idea what maintenance is in these nations. And because of all these string of mindlessness in our nations, as Cho said earlier, we're going to be talking about this to 20 years' time because there's nothing changing that doesn't change within our people. I said it earlier that our culture has to be updated. Our culture is still rather archaic and backward, I'm afraid.
Brother, what you said is very important because in the diaspora, if you look at Latin America, this our so-called culture is celebrated everywhere, even in the US. If you look at Yoruba culture, it's elevated. But it seems like, apart from the archaic nature, we demonize it because of Islam and Christianity.
No. I don't even want to go there. You know, what you know, we can speak about any culture in Africa that has potential and that has quite a lot of beauty, depth, and integrity about their culture. However, we are in I remember traveling back to Nigeria when I was a young boy, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And Nigeria is 6 hours away. But in actual fact, it seemed that it was so far from the West when I used to land in Nigeria. It used to be like a different country completely. We should be as far away as China in the way, from Europe, in the way we articulate things, in the way we behave, so many things. We're kind of, you know, we've got to admit it's unfortunate, I don't like to say things like this, but we've got to admit our level of backwardness. We are backward. we are back. When I speak to Nigerians sometimes, I always marvel at our intelligence. But then within the conversation where I'm marveling about our intelligence, I still marvel about our level of backwardness. And that backwardness comes directly from our cultures. It comes directly from there. When is a man in Africa? No, not in Africa, in Nigeria. When is a man a man? We are calling 50-year-olds youth, and we think that's good practice. Nobody wants to correct that statement. How can a 50-year-old be a youth, for God's sake? In the time of our colonialism, the majority of the staff that were in Nigeria were between 19 and 27. Men running countries. There were men at 19 They call them Mr. X, Y, and Z. This is a 47-year-old man would call a 19-year-old man Mr. We don't do that. We call him small boy. You are small boy, eh? Do you think you are wiser than me? They'll start with all that shit, all that horrible rubbish. You see,
but all this it's now that it's starting, no. All this Azikiwe where you hear, all this Awolowo, even the guns of this war were all 29, 30.
Yeah, exactly. I concur with that. All of the brigadiers and generals and military heads of state that we had, they were young. They were young people. They were young. Not that they were. It's all. I mean,
Jago, see, the point is that that Masker made that I disagreed with was that, first of all, this is one of the reasons why some people say, oh, why do I say this? Like, why do I say that our inheritance has to involve an element of suffering? Because what Jago is saying, Masker is implying is that, oh, if you suffer, it shouldn't matter. You shouldn't go in that direction. Otherwise, you are not a good leader. The point I'm making is that if you look at China that I'm looking at here, I can't even believe, if you think they sanctioned Russia today for the Ukraine war, if you know what they did to China when China was about to emerge, the sanction they put on them, they blocked everything, every single thing. They were blocking, and the Chinese were looking for a way to. They started doing trade by barter. They were blocking everything.
Me, I don't like Johnny issue, but I'll join you on this. Let me be very clear, forefathers.
Okay.
I have suffered in my life. I went to the farm. I went to the school. I trekked to school. That is suffering for better future. Okay? And it will not be the same with what Zimbabwe is going through, because they are suffering for nothing. There is no future that will come out of their suffering.
Why?
Because the suffering is clearly out of incompetence. You can't go and print money and think that at the end of the day things will be okay. And the second part, what I'm telling you, is that the problem in Zimbabwe is an orchestrated problem by the West.
Okay, so you are saying the suffering is coming from incompetence.
I think what Jago and Masker are saying, they're saying the same thing.
Personally, I disagree with that.
I think okay.
See, let me join this issue with him. I disagree with that because you are looking at the snapshot now. You are not looking at what comes later.
No. If you listen to me, I'm futuristic. In the future, I can tell you
don't
that
know.
there's no benefit from a hyperinflation. There's no benefit that comes.
Of course. Okay, good. Hyperinflation, there's no benefit. However, it was worse than this before. Now they are taking control of it again. Let's say they are able to rest.
And guess what? It is not Mugabe that is bringing it down. It was Mugabe that took it up.
Yes. This is same for other countries. You have one other leader like Stalin do what you need to do. Khrushchev take it to a different level, or Mao Zedong. See, nations, you have leaders that come in, they carry out similar agenda. Point is that if you start reading the wrong message from an event like this, just like Nigerians read. Let me finish what I'm saying. I let you finish what you are saying. I let you finish what you are saying. Hold on, I let you finish what you are saying. See, even listen, you see, you took what I wanted to say away from me on that one. However, you are looking at it from the point of view of the current event that is occurring now. And even when you project it to the future, you don't know what is going to happen in the future. The world may become a BRICS kind of world in the future, whereby nations have alternative instead of relying only on the Western paradigm. So when that time comes, nations like Iran, nations like this in Zimbabwe will not be reliant on the Western and this in hemisphere anymore. So for you to say, oh, because they are suffering now and the inflation is 100% now, it's going to remain like that forever, it's not true. Hold on, let me finish what I'm saying. We've had our economy, the Nigerian economy itself, that we are acting as if, oh, because the West is doing that to us. No, the West is not doing anything to us, but yet the Nigerian economy more than halved in GDP value, from $450 billion to less than $200 billion, all within 2 years. And our current president is the one that is responsible for that. So,
like this,
and not for a good reason.
Why does that impact the quality of life of Nigerian people?
No, how
You
that
see,
impact?
how
Hold
this
on.
does not matter if it does not impact the
Jide, let's focus on the point. I don't want people to just change the topic. Because this type of thing, we did that with NSAS, whereby we say, oh, people that die for NSAS die for nothing, and all this type of talk. We read the wrong message from events that people actually made sacrifices to make happen. And that's what Masca is doing here. Say, oh, because they kicked those white farmers out. What you are doing is you are saying the same things that the South Africans are saying, that they should not kick those white farmers out.
Forefathers, you are running.
No, you said their future is not good. It's not going to be good.
Forefathers,
you are predicting the outcome of everything they are doing. That's what you did.
Forefathers, but we have, look, nations, there is a book written, Why Nations Fail. Forefathers, other countries have come out, countries have grown. Countries have grown. Look, the path for nations to grow is clear. It's well known.
Dexter, just a second. So, forefathers, tell me the suffering that Dubai suffered today, that they are where they are.
Dubai went through a tough period too.
Maybe
not. Hold on. Let me. The wars they had wars. They don't have a lot of population to die. How many people would die? They went to war. They fought wars. I think when the Arab countries were fighting Israel, they went to war too.
Forefathers, how many of
they were fighting?
Forefathers, let me ask you a question. How many of your children are you going to enlist to go and fight this war you're talking about?
Which war?
The way you are talking, first of all, forefathers, are you guys? There's something
about
that
what happened, forefathers. Anyway,
you know,
how many war did China fight so much?
The way you are talking, you are extracting. I hope you be ready to pay this ultimate sacrifice. The way you look, Mugabe has put. Look, Zimbabwe was a country that should have been the light of Africa. Mugabe has sent them years backward. What is the argument about the greed of one man? In Africa, this idea that one man will hog power and feel that without his ideology, the country can't move forward. Mugabe was the hero of Africa. Then all of a sudden, he felt that the country could not move forward without him anymore. And then you are here actually promoting. Are you promoting dictatorship? I mean,
okay.
My point is that countries can evolve, but look, the idea that it is the pathway for growth for countries is hinged in only one man's head is a disservice to Africa.
I don't think it's about individuals.
Now let's hold on. Let them all the people that are talking now. Let them talk because this is the kind of stuff that really gets me going. Now this is Zimbabwe's GDP per capita, and I will show you that of Nigeria.
It's not to come and show us.
Hold on. Don't just talk. No. You are going to stand on what you are saying right now. Let's not change this in. This is Nigeria's GDP per capita, and if we go further, you are going to find that it's less than this actually. So this is Nigeria's GDP per capita now. Life
read it. We can't read it now.
Okay. Nigeria GDP per capita is showing it is 1,590. So if I put that of 2024, let's see, Nigeria GDP per capita is $807 US. Let me repeat that. Nigeria GDP per capita, we didn't do anything against the West too. We are not sanctioned at all. Nothing. Our GDP per capita is $807 US. Let me zoom in again so I can see it clearly.
You are not listening to me. That means
sorry. No, because I let me make the point, and then you can make your point. Now I'll go to this thing. What life expectancy, isn't it? Zimbabwe life expectancy. 2024. Let's see what it says. 62.7 years. And let me just replace that with Nigeria so it doesn't.
Nigeria is 53.
Yeah, okay, now look at that, 54 years. So on almost all the major metrics, us that have not done anything wrong, look at where we are. And we are busy pointing fingers at the country that is actually trying to do the right thing and say,
no.
Do you know how they lost their land?
Forefathers.
Oh my
You
God,
are not listening.
There's no need to.
The starting point, what you should do what you should do, forefathers, the starting point for this, your argument, is to find the GDP per capita for Dubai.
Okay.
How much
for Dubai?
Is it? Yes.
For Dubai. Okay, hold on.
Yes.
I will get that. Hold on. I'm just checking something. Involving war and information, notably in Iraq war and all the rest. So now I will GDP per capita, GDP UAE, isn't it? UAE.
Yes.
It's going to be very high. I mean,
of course, it's going to be very high now. I don't know why he wants to check that. It's 49,000.
Yeah, it's going to be very high.
Okay.
No surprise.
All right. So a normal human being country has 49,000.
Yes.
Dollars. GDP, and you want to celebrate 2,000. Actually, if you do mathematical analysis, if you are comparing 2,000 and 1,000 or even 800 in Nigeria to 49, they will almost be the same amount.
How do you mean?
Okay, if you take $49,000 per capita as an income and you put it to one side, and you want to see the gap between 1,000 or 2,800 in comparison to that 49, I'm telling you that it will look like it's one and the same.
Yes. So does that not mean that one is still above the other?
Your comparison is wrong, because there is nothing different about Dubai and Zimbabwe. There's no difference. They are all human beings.
Okay.
How come Dubai is 49 and Zimbabwe is 2,000?
They are two completely different countries on a geopolitical level, on a demographical level. I mean,
are they not the same human beings living there?
Sorry. I need to bring support the
You
answer.
cannot just compare countries based on blank names and compare that they're not human beings.
What I find it frustrating about this is that let's calm down. Hold on. Just hold on. Let me try to manage. I know you are passionate about this topic when it comes to this issue, but I really want to because the message we are sending out here is a very, very wrong message, and I have seen that in Nigeria when we do that with NSAS too. And South African leaders, the reason why they are not acting for their people right now, their people are living in poverty, where they control 5% of the wealth of that country. 5% of household wealth is controlled by black people, because their leaders are afraid that what happened in Zimbabwe is going to happen in their country, because they don't want to suffer at all. They think they have a right to the wealth of the white man.
Please, I've told you in my case, going to school, going to the farm, going to work, trekking to school is meaningful suffering. There is suffering that is meaningless.
So you mean to take your land back from foreigners is not
meaningless? No. The thing is, forefather. Wait, Master. Let me try, please.
Oh my God.
You see, forefather, you have a formula, and your formula is made up of your array of statistics and viewpoints on economic value and geopolitics and what's going on across the world, but you don't necessarily narrow down. You almost think the formula, your formula is suffering, which Nigerians, they like that thing called suffering. They like it too much. Then arms race. Then the economic balance of taking over your economy. Now, whilst you have this formula, there's so many paradigms that are missing from your formula. So you're always, unfortunately, going to come out with a spurious, if not completely wrong, outcome.
Oh my God!
Wait.
I think the time is up for this stream. We need to open another stream, which is already on anyway. And let me just share the other stream link to this. Just go ahead and make your point. Sorry.
I like a lot of the questions you ask, but I don't always like a lot of the solutions, formulas, or answers you get from asking quite intelligent questions. The thing is, we have to really understand. We have to tell ourselves the truth, and it's no point in looking for what might make us feel good. or what our formula suggests, because other countries were able to make it in such a way. We have to understand Nigeria for what it is. There are so many things that Nigeria is not doing that puts it in the position that it's in. Unfortunately, the majority of our leaders have been corrupt, have been mindless, and really come to the table without a plan. The majority of them, they come there without a plan. I don't believe that Tinubu had a plan. I don't believe he had a plan. I believe he acted through a knee-jerk. I think he has some understanding, but not a plan. And as far as I'm concerned, you have to have a. When I used to think about Nigeria back in the day, it used to be clear to me that Nigeria has no plan, none. And I don't believe that
you can support you, Jagun. A clear plan. If we stick with Zimbabwe, the starting point of a good leader, one of the fundamentals of the plan is succession plan.
Yes.
Are you telling me that Mugabe had a succession plan? No.
No. It has to go from one to another, and there has to be some kind of continuation. How is it stop, start? So you're not going to get anywhere like that.
I think you have a point when you talk about succession plan. I think it's a valid point to make about succession plan. Let me get this. So we are going to be on in the next 5 minutes or so on the other this thing. So let me just get the link and put it in the private chat so we can just transition from here to there without any breakages in communication. And diaspora, support diaspora voting. Apologies for not bringing you in on time. So, but you'll be the first to go on the next thing. The link is in the private chat. You can check it on the general chat there. Let me put it in the this main chat too, so that people can have it. Like, share, and subscribe on the live live stream. And all those people that have not donated, I know all these bad belly people, they have money, they don't want to donate because it's us. Okay, it doesn't matter. We are giving free knowledge here, and the knowledge we are sharing here is often quite advanced. And I really appreciate some of the people that have come here to join us. They are some of the best minds in the areas that they are studying in. Not necessarily the best in terms of they did a PhD in it, but in terms of if you pick people from the streets, you tend to get the best set of people coming here to discuss this topic, because it tends to, they can ask you to provide evidence, and if you can't provide evidence, you know, now this place you'll be a little bit embarrassed that you didn't provide evidence for what you are saying. And so yeah, you guys can click on and join this in the other one, so that we can close out this one. So I'm going to be closing this one out now with this nice tourism generating video of one of the cultures in the this thing. I try to avoid the ones that can flag us for copyright. So let me play this one out. Bye. I'll see you guys on the next stream. The chat has got it there.